here we go. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is Mad Marcus and I'm joined today by Jared. Jared, you there?
Hello, how we doing?
There we go. And joined today by Andrew Southwick.
Marcus, it's great to be here, my friend.
How are we doing? Hope you are all well. So, team news is out. And the team news is De Gea in goal, Darmian at right back, Smalling, Lindelof centre backs, Ashley Young at left back, who is also captain, Matic, Pogba and Mata as the midfield three, and Lingard, Martial and Lukaku as the front three. So guys, what do you think? Let's start with Andrew first. What do you think of the team?
Well, I mean, you heard my reaction earlier. I mean, like, why are we playing Darmian in this game? Like, if you're gonna mix up the situation, you're gonna mix up what's going on. Why not play Delo there? Like, seriously, why are we not gonna play Delo? But besides that, I mean, I guess there's really no surprises. I mean, with Luke Shaw being on a compilation of yellows, I mean, I expected Young to step in at left back. And then, I mean, I'm guessing it's a midfield three with Matic, Pogba, and Mata. But I mean, then really no surprises in the front line either.
Okay, Jared, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like Andrew said, I think Darmian's probably the one soft spot in the lineup, but it's Crystal Palace. We should be able to beat them. So I'm fine, and I like Martial starting.
Okay, so the bench is Lee Grant on the bench, Phil Jones, Fred, Rashford, Sanchez. I mean, an attacking bench. Valencia's in there as well. So, I mean, what do we think about the bench?
I mean, situation where it looks like our bench is just as strong as our starting 11. But I mean, except for Phil Jones, minus Phil Jones, take that out.
Minus Phil Jones. Okay, Jared, what are you thinking?
The bench. I think that Sanchez will come on if we need him, but to be honest, we should not be using or needing the bench in this game. I think Fellaini will serve a purpose in this game, funny enough. And I hate to say that. I think if we get in any type of trouble, I think their defense will have a little bit of trouble with Fellaini.
Okay, so obviously Mark is at the game today because him and the United Stand team were at the gala last night. And apparently they had quite a bit of fun there, so there will be some videos going up on the channel later on today. Mark again is at the game today, so we're trying a little bit different today. So if people would like the stream, share it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But Mata on the right hand side, I mean, a good game for Mata. I think we're going to need his creativity throughout the game. I'm not sure what the Crystal Palace team is. Any of you guys have it?
I will pull that up real quick for you.
Yeah. I think if Zaha starts, it could be a bit of a problem, Jared, for United.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zaha, since leaving United, has been unbelievable with Palace. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't trouble our unbelievably strong rock-at-the-back defense that we have this season.
Andros Townsend as well, bit of a threat on the left-hand side, got a good left foot on him, very pacey down the left-hand side. I mean, do you think he could pose a bit of a threat for us? I mean, Benteke as well, he scored that wonder goal against us when he was at Liverpool.
No, I think Benteke is a piece of, Benteke is a B-Tech Lukaku, and that's already worse. That's as bad as it gets. So, I think Palace have people to make it dangerous for us. They're a very well-organized team. Hodgson is an extremely good coach. Since he's come in, they've been a very strong side. They've been consistent. They play against the top six quite well. I think we need an early goal to kind of just stifle them a little bit, and I think we'll be okay. But I think if the game gets away from us, it could be a little challenging if they're underestimated. But, it's Palace at home. We really shouldn't have many problems here.
Well, so I do have the lineup here for you, Marcus.
Yeah, go for it, Mike. Yep.
All right, so it's Hennessy in goal, then Wan-Bissaka, Tompkins, Soko, Van Arnold, MacArthur, Milivojevic, Coyote, Meyer, Townsend, and Zaha.
Okay, so Zaha starts. Is he going to be playing through the middle, or is he out on the right hand side?
I mean, they've got him listed as the last little bit on their lineup, so I'm thinking maybe they're playing him up top.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, danger men for Palace, Andrew. I mean, there was a lot of talk. The lad who was on the show Thursday for the preview spoke about the right back coming through. I mean, Fosu Mensah was on loan there at Palace last season as well, in and out of the team. So I mean, the right back. Do you know anything about him?
I know that he has been causing problems for people this year. But I mean, if you wanted to get into it a little bit, I mean, I did a little bit of stat digging, and so we've got Crystal Palace that have only scored 8 goals this year in the Premier League through. I mean, we're into week 13 here.
Yep.
And 8 goals. That's it.
8
So
goals. Wow.
let's be real here. This is a team that shouldn't cause us any problems, but I'm still nervous for this game.
Well, we knew at the start of the season there were teams that shouldn't have caused us any problems, you know, and they have done. So, I mean, Jared, do you think there's any chance of an upset today with Crystal Palace?
There's always a chance of an upset in the current state of Manchester United, but but I would say it would be shocking. Although we have had a lot of trouble coming back from international breaks in the past.
Yeah.
So to be fair, yes, I think there could be a chance, but I would be very surprised. Again, though, if we just let the game stay 0-0, 1-0, and it's the 84th minute and it's still 1-0, I think we'll have a problem. I think they could nick a draw. I'm not concerned about them beating us, but, you know, I think Andrew had a good statistic before saying, like, what was it that we have never lost to Crystal Palace?
We have never lost to Crystal Palace in the Premier League era.
And we're at home. So, you know.
So you're quite confident of a result for United today, then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think half the team is probably looking forward to the Champions League match next week, that they're just getting ready.
Yeah.
At this. And I think to that end, that's why the lineup is a little weaker than we want it to be, is for that match.
Well, Darmian at right back is interesting. I think Mourinho said in his press conference that Valencia was going to start, Fellaini was going to start, Martial was going to start. Fellaini obviously on the bench. So, but Darmian starting, very, very interesting, considering he's got a full strength squad to choose from. I mean, where's Delo? I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I think for a young lad who's learning his trade at United, this would have been a good game to put him in. If he's not trusting Valencia, I mean, you know, Darmian, we all know how crap Darmian is at right back. So I think this was a prime opportunity for him to put Delo in there on the right side. What do you guys think?
I think it's always tough. First of all, Mourinho, that's his signing. You know, I know we always go back and forth on, like, who's a Mourinho signing, who's a board signing, whatever. This is a Mourinho signing. That's his guy. He pinpointed him. He knew he was very good. As long as Mourinho's here, I think the future of this guy specifically is in good hands. He's Portuguese. Yeah. Mourinho's Portuguese. Like, there's a reason why he's not playing as much as a reason why the fans want to see him play. You know, like, there has to be something where maybe he's hurt. We're not going to hear about injuries on a guy like Delo like we would for a Mata or a Martial or a Lukaku or a Rashford. So I think, again, can't look too deep into it. It would have been a good game for him. He's not playing. I'm over it pretty quickly.
Captain?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was very shocked that, I mean, Delo wasn't going to get the start today when I saw the lineup. I mean, he's back. He's fit. I mean, I think that this would be a perfect game, too, against a team that's going to be fighting relegation for the most part all year long, that, you know, we get the chance to put him in against some lower competition and he can get a Premier League start. I mean, like, I think that he's only started a Champions League game and a cup game, correct?
Yeah, the Champions League was Young Boys, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah, not too sure about the cup game. My mind don't go
think
back
he
that
started
far.
that game against Derby, didn't he?
Yes, yes.
And those have been his 2 starts all year long.
Very
Like, we've
interesting.
seen him for 2 games, and we haven't seen him again. And like he looks fast. He looks like he can put a good cross in. It looks like he's got the ability to tackle and be fearless. I am really surprised that he's not even in the squad today, let alone not starting.
Yeah. I mean, Fred on the bench again. You know, another £50 million signing by Mourinho not being used. He's gone for Matic, Pogba, and Mata. I mean, do you think Fred warrants a place in that starting 11 now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this would have been another game where it would have been a smart idea to get somebody like Fred in against Premier League competition, against a lower side. That, I mean, because Jared brought up a good point that we do have a Champions League match in the middle of the week, and why not kind of run out some of the people that you're wanting to get more experience in the Premier League right now? People like Fred, like Delo. I mean, like Andres Pereira. I mean, like Andres Pereira, once again, not even making the bench. I mean, that's a story in and of itself. But, yeah, I mean, I thought Fred would have been a great start today.
Jared, what about you? Thoughts on Fred?
Again, I would have loved to see him start. I think I've wanted to see him start more games, but I got to think Mourinho's eye is on Valencia and on the Champions League. So I overall just I'll give him a pass on the lineup as long as we do well in the middle of the week.
So obviously the Valencia game is a must-win game, but surely that's no reason to start Darmian at right back or left back, because obviously he's the one that's coming for Luke Shaw. So I mean, do you think it's going to be Darmian right, Young left?
Darmian right, yeah, actually.
Yeah. I mean, because Darmian can play at left back, as we've seen.
Well, you could try to. I wouldn't give him that much credit that he can play it, but he.
Well, he doesn't play it well, but he can.
Right,
he can play there.
Does play.
Mark's in the live comments right now. He said, "Hi, all, Darmian lol."
How are we doing, Mark? You're right. But yeah, Darmian at right back. That's not really any positivity at all for me in terms of that back line. We know that Smalling is a mistake away. Lindelof, he's been sloppy. Well, I wouldn't say sloppy, that's a bit too harsh, but he's not looking really confident in there. We saw in the first few games of the season, Fellaini was sort of like babysitting him. So them two as a centre-back pairing for the future are a bit of a concern for me. I think Bailly, again, should be in there. To me, he's our best centre-back. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on the centre-back pairing with Smalling and Lindelof?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, Bailly is somebody that I think that it's the same situation with Lindelof. All he needs is to go out and start, and he needs some confidence. He needs to be given the chance to get his confidence back. Lindelof has been given loads of chances to continue to gain his confidence, and it feels like Mourinho has basically said to him, "Hey, I'm not dropping you anytime soon. Just go out there and play your game," and he looks confident right now.
Yeah.
And Bailly could desperately use that. I mean, desperately use that. So,
the defense for me has been a problem all year. So, I don't think we have the right pairing anyway. So I hope the pairing that he chose makes it out alive in this game. Again, Bailly, I can't understand the reason why he's not playing. So it's not just. There's got to be something else to the story that we're not being told. It just wouldn't make sense that our best center back would be on the bench consistently for Smalling and Jones. It just doesn't add up. Lindelof, I think it's great that he's coming along, and I think he'll be a perfect third center back in the future, and hopefully part of a back line. But I think eventually we'll bring in a defender and pair him with Bailly, and I think that is my hope.
Yeah. So, interesting comment here from Breach69. Smalling's contract, obviously a big talking point this week. 125,000 a week for our, I'm going to say, third or fourth best centre back. I mean, what do you guys think of that? I mean, should we be renewing the contracts of these people? I mean, Ashley Young, a year extension, Valencia, a year extension. It's absolutely terrible. I think we should be shipping these sort of players out and improving upon these players. So, I mean, what do you guys think about Smalling's contract?
Yeah, I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke that we are continuing to deal with these people on this team. We need a restructuring of the entire defense. And again, this also gets us into the problems, right? Because we keep these players into their MLS years, and then what ends up happening is that we are in a situation where they cannot be sold. Like, you look at Alexis, let's just say Alexis and United were headed for a split. It's not that easy because Alexis is on $500,000 a week. And as the best paid player in the Premier League, we can't get rid of the people that we want to get rid of, so we are stuck with deadwood everywhere, or people who don't fit the team or the manager, and then we end up in the equation that we're in. I think that if we sign Smalling, it's just another bad signing by a bad board.
Captain?
Yeah. I mean, listen, Jared hit the nail on the head there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think of everybody that's going to be out of contract in terms of the center backs. I mean, I would give Smalling a contract extension, but not at $125,000 a week, because ultimately I think that whoever the next manager is, because I think that we're pretty much all in agreement that Mourinho will not make it through this entire season without getting the axe.
Yeah.
I think that Smalling could be a good backup, somebody to keep around, somebody that understands the club. But at the same time, should we be looking to improve and get better in positions like that? Absolutely. Like, we shouldn't be looking to keep on, Phil Jones and Matteo Darmian and Chris Smalling and Antonio Valencia. And basically, I would say all the defenders, Ashley Young is the only one I would give an extension to, because he can play either wing. He can play either side, and ultimately give him a 1-year contract and let him kind of be the veteran in the locker room. But everybody else, get out of here. I don't need you. We can bring in better players that can play for the same amount of like that $125,000 a week.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for God's sake, because I saw somebody in the live comments say, "Hell, I'll take $500 a week, just $500, that's it, and I'll play defender. I'll probably play the same way too." Like, I don't understand why we continue to allow players that have been average at best to continue to have a career at Manchester United.
See, now, you say there, Andrew, I mean, average at best. I mean, Ashley Young, Mark has said it countless times, if you want to challenge for the top honours, you don't have converted wingers as your right and left back, all right? No matter who they are, and no matter the age, it just doesn't work. So, I mean, saying there that you give Ashley Young a contract extension, but I mean, isn't that setting the wrong example of what the club is all about? Should we be so heavily reliant on players that are 33, 34 years old looking for their last paydays? Shouldn't we be bringing in the fresh young talent that we've got? And if we don't have it in the youth, then shouldn't we be going out and buying the best?
Oh, Marcus, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I want Ashley Young to be starting week in and week out if we gave, and I'm talking literally a 1-year extension. Yeah. Allow him to be a veteran and allow him to continue to teach young players like Delo. I mean, like whoever we're going to bring in, but allow him to be the backup and allow him to play in games that A game like this, where we've got a Champions League game midweek and it's a lower side, but we need to give somebody a rest. I feel like Ashley Young would suit this role, but Ashley Young should, like, especially at this stage in his career, he should never, ever be starting.
Yeah. But see, Jared, I'll put that to you. I mean, like I just said to Andrew there, the Ashley Young situation. Should you be giving him a year's extension when we have the likes of Twansibi, Fosu Mensah, great upcoming talent that I think they're ready for the first team. I really do. I mean, Fosu Mensah, on loan at Crystal Palace, on loan at Aston Villa, and I think he's done well. But I think the problem for that young lad is no one knows what his best position is. We've talked him up at being a CDM because of his build. He's built like a tank. He's played at right back. He's done really well. Twansibi played a centre back last season for a couple of games. I thought he did really well. So should we be giving these players who are on their last legs these extensions, or should Mourinho be thinking, look, let's turn to the youth now. It's their time. Let's put our trust in them and see how they do.
Well, it's funny you bring Mourinho into it because I think he's the central part of that question. I am not as against Mourinho as others, I would say, are, but I will say that you look at the contracts that we're handing out, and you understand that this is why this club will not win a title for a very long time, because it is very simple. We are now making Chris Smalling one of the top 5 paid defenders in the Premier League, and if somebody can tell me that makes sense, I don't see it. And if somebody wants Ashley Young at 100,000, it doesn't. I don't see it. I just don't see this anymore. Like, the problem is nobody on that team. Let me not say nobody. Very few people seem to give a shit anymore about playing for the badge of Manchester United. They just play for a wage.
Yeah.
And I think until you get people who play for the club, you're always going to be signing overpaid people who don't care, who can't wait to leave. So it's like, Smalling's been loyal. He's been good. Would I like to keep him? Yeah, sure. But I would almost want the entire thing to be incentive-based, not let's just give you $125,000 a week. I mean, David Luiz makes $120K a week, company Otamendi, and that's before the new salaries. If Van Dijk is making £180,000 a week, well, then just pay $55,000 more and find me a Van Dijk for this lineup. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't add up what they're doing, and they're just too afraid to make changes. And as a result, I mean, Ashley Young is a perfect person back there if he's playing one game a month, and doing nothing and just coaching the people to get better. But is he really going to be doing that? No. So I don't think him or Smalling or any of them are right, but I think it's what we deserve at the current moment.
Yeah.
Well, and Jared, just to counter you on that a little bit. I mean, I think that if you're talking about Mourinho still being here, then absolutely, I don't want to be giving Ashley Young any kind of extension, because we all know Mourinho will continue to pick him no matter what, because he's always going to prefer his veterans to his youth. But if you're talking about a new manager, I mean, do you think a new manager would play Ashley Young as much as Mourinho has been?
No, but then why are we tying up $100,000 in wages with him?
No, fair enough. That's fair.
I'm not disagreeing with this at all. I'm just saying it's a much simpler piece. Like, our club is in so much disarray. You have half the fans who want a manager there, half the fans who want the manager out, half the fans who don't even blame the board for these problems. And you have this equation where they keep putting issues in front of us that don't make sense. Like, obviously, Chris Smalling is not worth $125,000 a week. So if you say that, do you now hate Chris Smalling, or are you just making a point that his contract's terrible? And same thing with Ashley Young. Ashley Young's very useful. He's a bit-part player who should coach the youth to get better. If he's not in that role, he's overpaid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think he would be put in that role, so I think that's the problem. I think we need to be uncomfortable in our back line for a little bit, and Ashley Young is a comfort back there.
Yeah. So for people who's joining late, obviously Mark is at the game. He went to the gala event at Hotel Football last night. So to fill you guys in, the starting 11 is De Gea in goal, Darmian, Smalling, Lindelof, Ashley Young, who's also the captain in defence. Matic, Pogba, Mata, Lingard, Martial, Lukaku. Subs is Grant, Jones, Valencia, Fellaini, Fred, Alexis and Rashford. So, I mean, let's talk about Alexis Sanchez for a minute. I mean, highest paid player in the Premier League, on the bench again. Is this just Mourinho? Is this just a case of Mourinho showing him who's boss, or do you think that, January, Mourinho's thinking, okay, if I keep him fresh and not injured, we'll be able to ship him out in January to somewhere?
I was going to say, I know I saw those comments in the middle of the week from Mourinho saying that if Alexis wants to leave, he can leave. Yeah. So, I mean,
actually, that's what's worse. He can't leave because we paid him £315,000 a week to come here for how many years? 4 years. He's unsellable. He is unsellable. He's also.
I think somebody like PSG would pick him up, though.
No, because you know what the problem is? PSG are not going to pay. Look, I always said PSG were a stupid team when they with the people they sign, but we said hold our beer, because this is one of, in my opinion, like the worst fits for a team I have ever seen. Sanchez was a locker room cancer in Arsenal. You could see their fans were very happy when he left. I thought we were getting like a world-class player, and it's not even close. It's not even close. And the problem is, for Alexis Sanchez to be world-class, it's going to displace one of our actual superstars with youth. He won't leave, and he needs to leave. So I guess I'll pose the question to you guys. What do you actually think? Is there any way he could? Because who's paying that wage for him at 30?
Andrew?
I mean, that's a hell of a question. I mean, I think that there would be some team that would think that maybe he just wasn't a good fit for Manchester United. I mean, and that's why I bring up a PSG, because, they bought Di Maria, and Di Maria has gone on to, granted, it's the French league. We all know that the French league might as well not even be the MLS. I mean, come on now. But Alexis Sanchez, he's at a stage in his career where he could still go on to another league, and I think that he could succeed. I don't think that he is going to succeed at Manchester United at this point. He's played up top in a couple of games, and he did okay in a couple of games playing up top, but he wasn't anything special either. That's where the problem is you're paying this guy, like you said, we're paying him over $300,000 a week, and I've heard everything up to $500,000 a week.
Well, it's just the conversion rate. So yeah, we're paying him $500,000 a week, £315,000 a week, and like 350,000 euros. So it could be said 9 different ways. And then if you include the bonuses that he gets, I think he gets a $75,000 per week bonus if he does. I think there's a starting or sitting fee. I think there's a payment we have to make to him if we bench him per game. So that. It's the problem is we always heard the problems or complaints about Martial, right? So Martial had the issues where he looked miserable. He doesn't look that miserable anymore, if I have to be honest. But Sanchez looks miserable, and nobody wants to put up with it because he's not Martial.
He's not scoring.
We were willing to deal with his bad mood and his down face, and he looked disinterested because we knew that there was someone there who would grow into a superstar. Sanchez is old. He is decrepit. It's time to go. It's time to move on, and we're stuck with him. And I really do believe this was not a Mourinho signing either. I think he was told to be excited about it. I think that he had to be excited about it, but I think there were 10 times better number 7s out there, and we decided to go with the old aging one. For what reason, I don't know.
Well, I really don't. I think that if you wanted to talk about number 7s too, Alexis Sanchez, yes, coming in, he probably should have been handed the number 7. He looked like somebody that would have deserved it. But we're at a point right now where and it's something that I know we've talked about, ad nauseum, that when he came and Martial got dropped for him for no reason, why? Why did Martial get dropped when he was literally our player of the month for 3 out of the 5 months before he got there? I mean, we're basically. I actually just saw say what I think. Sanchez's retirement fund. I mean, that's basically like he's collecting his retirement right now from Manchester United, and it's sad because I think that Martial is somebody that right now the way that he's playing, Martial deserves to get the number 7 next.
Yeah.
Martial is doing everything right. He's even putting up with the Mourinho antics. And honestly, I mean, I've talked about it a little bit, but with the way that Mourinho continues to put Anthony Martial's name in his mouth for negative purposes, I honestly feel like Mourinho's a snake, and he's trying to actually destroy Manchester United like he said he was going to do when he came to Chelsea all those years ago, because I feel like he's trying to drive out people like Martial, like De Gea. I mean, honestly, all of our best players, like Pogba, he's trying to drive out our best players.
No, I don't. I think that's a stretch. I don't think he's trying to drive out Martial. He wouldn't be starting him every week. He would still be creating this issue. I don't think he's trying to drive out De Gea. I think that the press loves taking advantage of what's going on here, and I think they make it 10 times worse. The quotes this week that sent half the fans through the roof, they weren't even the quotes. He actually was defending them. So it's like, this board has set this manager out on a raft by himself. I am not saying Mourinho has done himself any favors with this fan base at all. He treats us like idiots. But he gets the most criticism I have ever seen from a manager ever. I've never seen the media turn on a manager to this degree, and anything that they can pinpoint as a problem, they do. I mean, they don't give him credit now that Martial's starting every game. Right? Everyone is saying because of an injury, he is now playing every game. That's not it. He could have switched it immediately. He could have put Sanchez instead of Martial and just moved on. He's not. So I think it's one of these things where Mourinho and United are headed for a divorce, and that's a good thing. But it's not the blame of Mourinho that the board is idiots. Idiots signing people, putting people that don't belong here. And in the end, no matter what happens with Mourinho, the bigger problems are going to persist. We have humongous problems. We have a tapeworm in this team, and it's the board and the Glazers. And until they're rid of this team, you're always going to have the same problems we have now, because we've had them with Van Gaal. We've had them with Moyes was absolute disaster, but Van Gaal was on the right path, I think, and then done at the end because the board found Mourinho. And now they're not going to do it again. At the end of this year, Mourinho will go. But if you bring in a Zidane, it's the same thing. Is he really going to get back? Is he going to get who he wants? Or is it just going to be another thing where 3 years later, we're miserable?
Well, just so you guys know, I'm not saying that Mourinho is that's actually what he's trying to do. That was kind of like a X-Files music starts now kind of thing, but like it's just jokes, because like I realized that because I did read the quotes, but I don't understand why he needs to continue to talk about them even in any form of negative capacity, Like, I know that what he was saying is like he's talking about the past, but why even bring his name up right now when he literally saved Mourinho's job for the month of October, the entire month of October? Like, I don't get why you need to continue to bring him up in any negative fashion.
Well, I just want to say that I missed a contribution from someone called Moses. So sorry about that. If you just type in the comments what you wanted to say, I will make sure I look for it and read it out, okay? But thanks for your contribution. I did see it. It's just
I got it here, Marcus.
Oh, do you want to read it out for me then, please?
All right, so Moses, thank you very much for the $5 contribution. He said the board is all about making money, then get big boy players to get big boy money, spend money to make money, shirts sell will go through the roof.
Okay, right. So great. Thanks for the contribution, Moses. But yeah, I think he's got a good point there. I think United are buying these players who are declining. They're giving them a good wage because hopefully they're thinking that the name will bring in more money through the shirt sales, and it's kind of like, to me, like an investment in these players that are declining now. They just want to bring them in because of their name, not because of what they can do on the pitch. So, I mean, shirt sales, when you think of Alexis Sanchez coming in as the number 7, a lot of Arsenal fans said that he was declining and we weren't getting him at his best, at his peak. And I think it's turning out to be true. I mean, Mourinho, he's messing about with him like he does with all the players. Martial, Lingard, Rashford. He digs them out when he feels like it and puts them on the bench and sometimes excludes them from the team. I mean, Pogba is a perfect example of that. But yeah, I mean, it's Martial's an interesting one. He really is. The amount of times that Mourinho has thrown that lad under the bus, and you think to yourself, I know Mark's mentioned it a few times, without his goals in October, Mourinho would be out of a job. So to me, Mourinho should be kissing his nutsack for what I can see, because he's the reason he is in the job at the minute, and there is no way that Mourinho, I think, would dare drop Martial, even if he had a slight injury or something like that. That's the only way that could probably keep him out of the team, is if he had a serious injury. But, I mean, in terms of how Mourinho is treating the players this week, I mean, Jared, you said there he was misquoted in what he was saying. I mean, do you think that's right for a Manchester United manager to be saying stuff like that about young players? I know Lingard's obviously not young anymore, but the Martials, the Rashfords. I mean, is it right for him to treat these players like that at the minute? 'Cause it's not setting a good example, is it?
No, I also think it's a very old school way of managing. Like you're supposed to bring them through and get them tougher mentally, and I don't know that it works in today's day and age. And I think this is probably where Mourinho's fissure happens with the squad more than anything else, is his inability to connect with them. And again, it sucks to look at like a Liverpool or a Man City, but those managers have found a way to connect with the talent on the team and make them better. Like, they will run through walls for Klopp, but it's not 3 of them. It's 11 of them. Every one of them would run through a wall for him. You look at Mane, you look at Salah, you look at Firmino, you look at Alisson, Van Dijk. These people are signing contracts, staying at the club, not even talking about leaving. And bigger clubs want them. Man City, it's the same thing. They're keeping the talent. They're building around smart people, and they're signing good people. That their teams are set up for a very long time of success. We have and are looking at people like Smalling. So I think Mourinho has to go, but I don't think it's going to fix the problems, if that makes sense. Mourinho, the way he treats the talent is unacceptable.
Yeah. So, and real quick, so I've seen a few people asking about where they can watch the match at. So, I believe Marcus told me that it's not available in the UK, just like all the midday games are for you guys. But for us here in the States, it's actually not even available on regular TV. It's on the NBC Sports Gold app, which, if I remember correctly, Jared, I think it's like $39.99 or $49.99 for the entire season.
Yeah, it's $39.
Yeah, it's being $40 for the season, and you get all the Premier League matches for the entire year. Not that we want you guys to hate us Americans anymore, but yeah, we actually can watch every single game every single week if we wanted to. But I mean, Jared brings up fantastic points there that I don't understand. Like, and I think that's where Mourinho has kind of lost it a little bit with the way that he's doing things, because I feel like that he just doesn't understand how the modern players work. I actually think that, like, I mean, we all know what a great manager Mourinho has been throughout his entire career. I mean, he's been absolutely amazing. But with the modern player, his style does not suit what is the modern player. I feel like modern players need more of like an arm around the shoulder type manager. Somebody that's going to give them encouragement and say, hey, go do your thing. Yeah. And I'm not saying whether that's right or not, but I feel like that's how a lot of players are these days. And I don't like the fact that, like, it's something that he continues to go after. I mean, like, if I remember correctly, he even mentioned Luke Shaw inside of those comments, and I'm like, why even, like, Luke Shaw has literally been your best defender all year long, and I mean, won Player of the Month in the first month, and he came close to winning it in the second month. I mean, another guy that you've got no reason to talk about but you continue to try and, like, in a sense, put the quotes around it, toughen him up. You don't need to toughen up a guy that's already killing it for you.
But shouldn't this be then, Andrew? Shouldn't this be the fact that change has to happen sooner rather than later? Because we all know Mourinho is not that type of player. Woodward knew he was not that type of manager when he brought him in. So, if Mourinho's the one for tough love, then with the youngsters we've got coming through, surely we need a manager who has better man management skills, who's not stuck in the past with outdated tactics and outdated football. We need change to happen now, just to try and salvage what's left of the season. I mean, because Mourinho talks about being in the top 4 by December, right? I mean, that's it. That's all he's talking about. We shouldn't, as fans, we shouldn't be thinking, hopefully we're in top 4 by December. No, sod that. We should be saying at December, right, okay, we're top of the table, or we're 6 points off top of the table. Second half of the season, let's put the title charge together and go for it. And he's talking like top 4's an achievement for the size of this club, and it's not.
Yeah.
Look, sorry, Andrew.
No, I'm sorry. Jared, if you want to go first, you can.
One thing on this comment, and I think this is where you look at the board. You blame Mourinho, but what if he wanted the title and he was told we don't need it? We're happy with top 4. That's all we need. This is what you're getting. You're getting $50 million to buy Fred, and we just need top 4 this year. Nothing else. We're happy with that. That is your job as a manager. Go out there, make sure the fans are happy about top 4, and that's it. I get people don't want to look at the truth, but the truth is that Mourinho was second last year. And he had defenders overperforming and outplaying their ability in every single way. And he was given nothing. Nothing. And you know what? The slating that he gets is accurate. He is not the right person for the job right now, but nothing will change because of this reason. Like, the board don't give a tit about where we end up. As long as it's in the top...
Good editing, Jared.
Yeah. As long as it's in the top 4, that they're happy. Their sponsorship deals are in place. Do you know to fire Mourinho it's £20 million? Good luck. Yep. Good luck getting these people to part with $1, let alone 20 million of them. It's not happening.
Well, I mean, and Marcus, that was a great point to bring up. I mean, what you look at what's going on the pitch, and you look at even if you wanted to get into it, look at what's going on in the stock room. I mean, you get into like the fact that our stock has dropped by, if I remember correctly, it's been over like $2 over the last like 6 months.
Okay.
And you would think that right there, I mean, for a club that, like Jared is saying, is so much about the money and making money for the board, for the owners, why are they then not trying to get rid of somebody that is probably contributing to the fact that the stock is dropping?
But then shouldn't they be sat in that boardroom with their pen and paper thinking to themselves, right, okay, it's going to cost us 25 million to get rid of him, to get rid of Mourinho, right? Look at what he's done. 50 million for Fred, doesn't play him, right? 89, 90 million for Pogba, he's treated him like shit, right? That's the the simple end of it. He's treated him like crap. Martial, he stifled him because he's brought in Sanchez, right? Delot, young, exciting talent, probably the best right back crosser I've seen in a long time for United. With the crosses he put in against young boys in the Champions League, he's not being played, right? De Gea, Martial are not willing to sign new contracts at the minute. Shouldn't they be Ed Woodward and the Glazers be in that room taking stock here of what is going on the pitch, instead of thinking, okay, let's not sack him because it saves us 20 million. Surely, if they're good businessmen, they should be thinking in the long run, this is going to contribute to our downfall in the stock market. If that's what they're worried about, money, then they must see that this guy is no good for Manchester United, because the performances on the pitch are just not good enough. People don't want to watch boring crap football week in, week out. We want to be excited, we want to be entertained, and we just don't have a manager that do that. So surely they should think, okay, let's cut our losses and get rid of him and bring someone else in.
Well, and so, I mean, I want to get into the live comments here and ask them. So, I mean, I want to ask you guys, if Manchester United right now were competing for, top four, possibly getting into first place, like maybe around second or third, and we were playing beautiful football, would that matter more to you than, being first place but playing absolutely crap football? I mean, I think that a lot of fans, end of the day, this game is about being entertained. And yes, it's also about winning. But if you're entertaining the fans, I think that a lot of people would not be complaining as much.
Yeah. Right, we've just had a contribution from Andrew Rossi. Thanks for that, mate. It says, this board is all about the money, big names, big TV deals, nothing to do with the football. Eventually they will sell to the Saudis. And you know what, Andrew? I hope that's right. I really do hope that's right. Because we've got a board here who are not willing to invest the kind of money that this club needs anymore. We're picking up, we're having to give contract extensions to has-been players at our club. And, rival teams, rival fans are taking the piss out of us. That's the truth. We're being called a retirement club now,
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but this all started with Zlatan coming in. That was the turning point for me. When you've got to rely on a 33, 34-year-old, I think he was at the time, as your main number 9, Manchester United have a problem, Lukaku, he's not a Manchester United number 9. I've said it all along. His touch is atrocious. He's one-footed. He's cumbersome. He's just not a Manchester United number 9 at all for me. And again, Mourinho has found a way to bring him in. He shouldn't even be in this starting 11 today. It should be, for me, it should be Rashford, the young, exciting talent who gets us up off our feet. We don't want to be sat there in the crowds or watching on TV thinking, look at that first touch again. Mourinho's doing what he does best, playing the absolute rubbish who can't play football. It's a joke. These young players should be given a chance to prove themselves. And with this guy in charge, it's only going to get worse as far as I can see.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Marcus. And to read a few of the live comments, Danny Green says titles matter to me, not the style. I see somebody else saying that play good football and be challenging for a title is more important. Good football. Somebody said first place is what they prefer. George says I prefer first. Beautiful football more important than prizes. Good football because results will eventually come. A trophy for dire crap is worthless. That's a pretty good comment right there.
That comment there about results will come, Jared. This is his third season in charge, right? Europa League and the League Cup in the first season, plus the Charity Shield. Okay, we finished, what was it, 5th or 6th that season?
Yep.
Second season, we come second. 19 points away from Manchester City. 19 points. That is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. And, third and fourth were not that far behind us, right? This season, we're, 8th at the minute?
Yeah.
Yes.
And, again, the same brand of football. So the results will not come if he keeps on playing this style of football because he's been doing it for 2.5 seasons. That's enough time for anyone with an ounce of sense to think, right, this isn't going to work. This is not going to work with him. This brand of football is taking away from what our club is really about. So, Jared, what do you think should happen between now and the end of the season? Should he be gone at Christmas? Do you believe in what he says?
I don't. Well, no. I think it's a misconception. Like, people seem to think that, like, because you defend Mourinho, you back him. I just empathize with Mourinho. I think he's in a shitty situation, and I think it's not created out of his own will. But he does not play the right tactics. He's the wrong manager for this club, and he should leave. The difference is we are not going to fire him. We're not going to change anything because the board doesn't want to, and thus we will be mired in this until May, and then we'll get rid of him. And then we'll be in this. This is going to be an ever-recurring carousel. We're not going to be able to get a manager who brings us the level of the clubs around us because they continue to invest, to continue to progress, and we don't. I hear the comments where we've given him $700 million. Around us, they've had more money. I think that Mourinho has just been He's the wrong manager tactically. There's no question about it. It's just I think that he needed things and wasn't given them this summer. He should have gotten a defender, and I would have liked to see where Mourinho would have been then. Just would have liked to see it. And if he was at the same position, you know it's him. But he's the wrong person for the club. No question about it.
So, I mean,
No.
yeah, this goes to everyone in the live comments as well, and and obviously you two. But, I mean, we're one of the richest clubs in the world, right? We've got money pouring out of our ears, yeah? £20 million or £25 million to sack this guy should be like change, water off a duck's back, right? What has Mourinho got? What are they seeing? What are the board seeing to want to keep him on? I mean, us as fans can see everything he's doing wrong, right? Because there's not really, I think the only bonus, the only plus for me is the fact that Martial is on a good run of games at the minute. He's being played constantly week in, week out. But in terms of the tactics, the style of football, the personnel, contract extensions, man management, what goes on the training pitch, I'm not seeing anything positive that he's doing for this club at all.
He should be fired, but they're not going to do it.
But why? This is the thing. Why? What is it this guy has got? There's plenty of good managers out there to replace him. Yeah, you got the Blancs, Zidane's, Jardim. You can even chuck Wenger in there if you wanted. You know what I mean? There are good managers out there. Yeah, that would
real
play,
quick, guys.
Yeah.
So teams lining up in the tunnel, and De Gea has a haircut.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Shaved his head, basically.
I mean, there are plenty of managers out there at this minute who are jobless that could come in and get this team playing the way we want them to play, because the personnel was there. I think with that, minus one or two players, a right winger, a centre back, the personnel is there. The foundation is there for someone else with an attacking philosophy to come in and get this team playing good football. So, what the hell are the Glazers and Woodward seeing in Mourinho that they just will not, move away from? Why are they willing to keep this guy?
Easy, because the club is owned on debt. I think they're still at £438 million of debt since the Glazers have purchased, still on that amount of money. This club is owned by the banks as much as it's owned by the Glazers. Yeah. And when you are going to pay £20 million, it's why they're rigidly set to transfer budget. It's why they're rigidly stick to a budget. It's because the stock is publicly traded. It's a publicly traded company that's £438 million bought on debt. So it's very different than like a Man City that has zero debt and can just buy a player on a whim with no questions, or fire a coach on a whim because they have the funds sitting there ready. We have the funds. They're also tied up in, I would say, stock. The Glazers have to move money around. It's not as easy. It seems easy because we pour more money than anyone else into the club, but the Glazers don't spend all that money. They take the money. They've pulled over $1 billion out of this club. They're leeches, and the leeches don't want to put money back into it. And here's the one thing. If they fire the manager, they have to pay that fee, not anyone else. So are they going to pay £20 million out of their pocket? No, they're not.
Yeah, it's a shame. But, right, so kickoff is fast approaching. We are 2 minutes away. So for people who's joining late, I'll say it again, Mark is at the game. He is doing the fan cams, which will be up on the channel later on. He was also at the gala event at Hotel Football last night. By all accounts, the United Stand team had a fantastic time, and they're all together today at the game. I think it's Sophie is there. I think Flex, Rance, Mark, obviously. I think Ross is there as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for the fan cams later on after the show. But the starting 11 is De Gea in goal, Darmian, Smalling, Lindelof, Young, who is also captain, Matic, Pogba, Mata, Lingard, Martial, Lukaku, and the bench is Grant, Jones, Valencia, Fellaini, Fred, Alexis, Rashford. So, everyone in the comments, let's get score predictions in. So, Captain, score prediction first. How do you see it going?
I'm going to go 2-1. I think that Crystal Palace are going to score first, and then I think that we will react, and we will come back and win this game 2-1.
Yep. We've also had a contribution here from Mr. Silas209. Thanks for that. It says we have the worst owners in the league. Mate, fantastic, fantastic comment. I don't think anyone would disagree with that, to be honest. Jared, what do you think? A lot of people saying 2-1. Oh, 2-1 Palace, says Samuel.
1-0 United.
1-0 United.
But if maybe we turn in a performance, I could see 4-1. But that's just because I would hope that happens because I'm bored. You know? I want to watch an exciting performance, and I feel like we deserve it, but I feel like it's going to be 1-0.
Yeah.
You could see Doug was praying for a 4-1. He's like, I want it. But no.
Soph, who's the queen of the comments and a moderator, says it's on in Ireland. It's on Sky Sports. Okay. So in Ireland, it's on Sky Sports. In America, NBC.
But
NBC Sports Gold.
For America, in America, it's NBC Sports Gold. So you got to pay whatever the fee is. There's probably a Black Friday.
All right, guys, kickoff just happened.
So we are underway.
Looks like he's eating his shirt. 700 pounds. Also, on a side note, I think that's how you get Martial to stay here, just to start, is strip Lukaku with the number 9.
Don't forget, guys, to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. United Stand is live every night at 8 p.m. and hopefully people are on the Discord channel as well. That's just recently started.
Yeah, that's been great, Discord.
That is,
Anyone
yes.
wants to try those voice chats? They're awesome. They're running all the time. You just log in, press connect to voice, and then there's going to be 15 people you could just discuss United stuff with.
Yeah.
And yell about.
Absolutely fantastic. So, you guys then, how we set up? I mean, is it 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1?
So it hasn't been obvious yet. So I mean, they've barely kind of gotten into it. I mean, ball's kind of pretty much been on the left-hand side so far, other than a couple of quick spells on the right. But it's looking early like a 4-3-3, even though NBC Sports Gold put up the lineup as a 4-2-3-1.
Okay. So I'll take it.
Mourinho's smiling.
Well, that makes a change.
Yeah.
Where's Darmian playing? That's most important. Is he left or right?
He's on the right.
He's on the right-hand side. So Ashley Young confirmed at left back.
Yes, Ashley Young is 100% at left back. I mean, it looks like we actually might be playing a 4-2-3-1 because I'm seeing Lingard kind of in the middle of the field right now.
Okay.
So Jared, Luca asked if you have an MLS team you support.
No, I do not like the MLS.
Fair enough.
But Luca.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on. Yeah,
Lingard. No, he got deflected, and then ball just went out for a corner.
Okay. Robbo Fellaini is on the bench, mate. He's on the bench. What channel is it on? So Sophie says in Ireland it's on Sky Sports. It's not on in the UK, but in America it's on NBC Gold.
Yep. NBC Sports Gold.
NBC Sports.
Decent ball into the box on that corner. Our guy barely missed getting to it.
You know, it's crazy too. Lingard what a shot that was. And if Palace hadn't stopped that, I think that was a goal.
Yeah, I agree.
Jesse, he's been nice under Mourinho. Really progressed well. No one would have ever thought Jesse Lingard was a starting player for the international team.
Yeah, and I mean he put in that great goal for England against the USA.
Yeah, I mean we apologize for making people in the UK watch what crap we put out.
Well, I mean it made me laugh because I had some. It had some people ask me if this was our strongest starting 11. I'm like, no, it's not. Like we were missing about 5 starters, but I mean,
Andrew and I differ on this. I think our strongest starting 11 is if 11 people were on the bench and we didn't play. But
upper trash. Update time and score will do when there's something to update. Harry Phelan says, sorry lads, only just joined. Where is Mark? And is Luke Shaw injured or something? What do you guys make of the team lineup? So Luke Shaw is not injured. He's a combination of yellow cards, so he's suspended for this game. Mark is actually at the game as well. So how are you all doing? Couple of hellos there. Hi.
Luca asked me if I have an MLS team. So I don't have an MLS team. I like a few different teams, but here Lukaku just put in a great cross, and it looked like it was Lingard that barely missed getting on the end of it. We're kind of playing around the box right now, but so my team that I support here in the States is Phoenix Rising FC. They're a USL team that's competing to get into MLS right now.
You have to compete to get into the MLS?
Well, it's not that you're competing to get in the MLS. It's like we have to present a bid to the MLS because they're expanding.
Oh. Well, I hope you guys get in. And for all of you MLS fans, I hope he gets into. That should have been it. But,
apparently Martial started very brightly on the left-hand side.
Yes.
Like
we're in Gotham City.
Yeah, Archie says long balls from United. I'm interested there. I mean, Lukaku crossing that ball in then. I mean, was he on the right or the left-hand side?
I'm sorry, Marcus, what was the question?
Lukaku, when Lukaku crossed that ball in and Lingard just missed it, was Lukaku on the right or the left?
Yes, Lukaku was on the right.
He's on the right. See, now I'd said a couple of weeks ago it would be interesting to see how Lukaku played on the right-hand side with Martial left and Rashford through the middle. So I'll be interested to see if that develops throughout the game.
Alice?
Yeah.
So,
I like that idea too. I mean, Jared, would you mind seeing Lukaku on the right-hand side? He tends to put in good crosses.
I'm concerned about his pace and currently the fact that he looks like he's eaten the old Lukaku. But yeah, I mean, I think that overall Lukaku needs there needs to be some change. He cannot be our number 9. So Lukaku's just on the track to Benteke at Liverpool, I think. Where eventually settles on a way he leaves.
I just had a contribution from Mr. Exclusive. Cheers, mate. It says, how's it going, guys? Hope everyone is well. United. Thanks for that, mate.
Thank you, Mr. Exclusive.
I mean, I don't know. And then I really do you think they would strip Lukaku of the number 9 to give it to Martial if he was willing to stay as a result of that? Because you remember that cannot have gone over his head still. I mean, the fact that it was stripped away from him, he can't be very happy. Years ago, but still.
I mean, it's a fair question, but I mean, I look at like where he's at, and I mean where we're at now. I mean, I would think that with him having the 11, I think that if he was handed the number 9, I think that he would be like, okay, cool. But I think that at this point he's kind of okay with having the 11. I mean, otherwise I feel like that would still be a story, which I'm sure that the media is probably listening right now, and they'll probably pick it up as a story. Martial's unsettled still.
I know.
Had a contribution from KO the Maker. Thank you.
But just so you guys can hear it real quick, so I mean, Manchester United have pretty much owned the possession for the most part so far here, heading into the 8th minute. I mean, Crystal Palace have had a couple of short spells on the ball, but nothing overly threatening until right now, and then we just broke it up.
So how Crystal Palace done anything yet? Have they come forward at all? Have they looked?
Oh, that's going to be a yellow.
Have they managed to get Zaha on the ball at all yet?
Not really. Milivojevic did just get a yellow card. Lingard kind of had a one man to beat, and Milivojevic tackled him from behind and took him out. Picked up the yellow.
So if people asking where Mark is at the game. Had a contribution here from KO the Maker. Thank you for that. It says, which channel can I watch it on in the US?
NBC Sports Gold.
There you go, Kate. NBC Sports Gold.
Prince, it was Milivojevic from Crystal Palace. He got the yellow.
So you're not looking threatening at the minute?
Yeah, we've got a free kick in a decent position. And it kind of got wasted a little bit. It was kicked towards Chris Smalling, but Chris Smalling couldn't get on the ball.
Okay. Jake Kavanagh has subscribed to the channel. Thank you. Is that Andrew Southwick on commentary? It says Angelino. Yes, it is. George Kyle's talking rubbish again. Christian Cruz says, how much is NBC Gold?
$39.
That for the year?
I believe you get a free week trial.
There we go.
If I remember correctly, I think you get a free week trial, but I might be wrong on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would do it anymore, but I thought they were running a special also this week.
I think they are doing a Black Friday special, just like Manchester United are doing the Black Friday special on MUTV.
Yeah.
Don't
give them any money, just in case anyone was wondering. They don't.
Jay Hart says at least we're moving the ball around more. So I mean, is that the way it's going at the minute? United moving it quickly, keeping possession well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jared, I feel like so far that we've been pretty much, the overly dominant team, like not even a question.
Yeah, I mean, it's looked like we're dominating, but we can't finish. So, again, 10 minutes in, we have possession. We've been playing well. They need to score. We can't get to 30 minutes where we're playing like this and still have no goals.
So Douglas has just said that City are 1-0 up already. Have they got West Ham today, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Apparently it's $49.99 today from a couple of people that are commenting. So I mean, maybe it was just yesterday. Yeah. But I mean, I've had NBC Sports Gold for the entire year, and I feel like if I remember correctly, I got like a deal for having it last year.
Yeah.
Postman
Pratt. Happy on no pay, so I don't know.
So, Jared, somebody did ask us if we have an NFL team that we are supporters of.
Yeah, I'm a tortured soul of the Jets. So every team I support is cursed, so I feel like I'm apologizing to the United fan base. I've done this.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I'm the same. I mean, I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan, so
yeah.
I mean, we did just come off of a few good seasons. I mean, even including going down to third string quarterbacks in back-to-back years.
No, they don't care. The quarter pig spin ball doesn't get to the end zone touchdown area too quickly. No, just some Yanks discussing American football. What can you do?
Right,
that's right. We're going to turn this into an NFL channel. That's what you don't know.
How's Darmian doing at the minute?
Darmian hasn't been bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's helped out enough in defense. I mean, he hasn't really had the chance to play a ball other than like short passes, but he hasn't been bad. And funny enough, as you say, he's literally getting on the ball now.
I feel like Andrew's also 45 seconds ahead of me, so he clearly got a better goal package than I did.
Yes. Yeah, it's because I got it way, way early, Jared. That's what it is.
They stream it to whoever signs up first.
Oof.
So Jake Kavanagh's got a good question here. He says, I have a question for you. Do you think United will get top 4 this season? I don't think we will.
Unfortunately, I do.
You do?
I mean that in the sense that I think Mourinho stays if we get top 4, and I think that he will nab 4th place and then send the fans into another problem.
I just think, how can a team get top 4 playing this football when you've got the likes of Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Liverpool playing decent football?
Well, Jared, so here's a fun fact that I did some research. It took me a couple hours to get through it completely. But so after we went to 10th place back 9 games into the season, and I believe we were 9 points back at that time. No team in the Premier League era has ever come back from being 10th and 9 points back, and then only one team has come back from being 10th, but they were only 5 points off top 4, and that was Liverpool in 2004-2005. So based on what history is, Manchester United will not finish in the top 4.
Yep, but based how much the fans and the media want this to continue, I wouldn't be shocked if it did. I'm telling you, situation where, like, you never know. The FA loves the attention. You never know. You never know. I'm not saying it's on our football that we're going to get it. I just think that I have this weird feeling that we're going to be set up for some disaster situation where we do come fourth and then we keep Mourinho for another year. And I know everyone's very supportive of Mourinho right now. Very, very popular with the fan base.
Yes. So I've got a question for you guys because I saw this tweet in the middle of the week. And I saw that and what they said was Mourinho's greatest success at Manchester United has been lowering the expectation of the fan base to believe that they aren't as good as they should be. Do you guys agree with that?
In a way.
You have to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're kind of at fault. You need to kind of process that we're probably not where we were. And I think Mourinho's probably the right man to get people to accept that. But I don't think anyone should ever accept competing for anything less than a title.
Well, how's United looking at the minute?
Fine.
Right now, Crystal Palace have a little bit of a spell of possession. They've had it for about the last minute, but they're not really threatening anything. But overall, Manchester United have been playing well. We've created a couple of opportunities, but no shots on goal yet. But Crystal Palace are hanging around their 18-yard box right now.
Are United pressing though, or not?
Right now, they're in their own. They're in the Crystal Palace final third, so no. But I mean, for the most part, we have been.
Yeah. But at least we've still got a clean sheet. That's something.
For the moment.
Yeah.
For the moment. But ball did just go out about 10 seconds ago for a goal kick for Manchester United.
I bet Mourinho's already thinking about bringing Fellaini on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
30th minute sub.
Yeah.
He loves his Fellaini.
I mean, guys, here's the real bet of the day. I mean, over/under on Marouane Fellaini having nudes or possibly a sex tape of him and Matic that's keeping Fellaini in a job.
Well, it's got to be Matic at this point who has the sex tape. Because the fact that he's still starting is on a whole nother level.
All jokes, obviously, guys. I mean, Fellaini's actually been decent this year.
That, Andrew?
What's that, Jared?
You really have to confirm that it's a joke?
Some people will take it seriously. Some people don't know sarcasm, Jared. You know that.
I can tell.
So a couple of people asking what channel. So in America it's NBC Sports Gold. In Ireland, Sophie said it was on Sky Sports, and it's not on in the UK, unfortunately. So,
you guys get
real
the
quick.
best.
So Zaha just had a shot, but went over the top of the goal.
So no shot on target yet?
No shot on target from either team yet. But De Gea looked pissed that the guy didn't close Zaha down. We're back now into our half. Pogba's got the ball and just passed it over on the right to Darmian. So Darmian's going to get a chance to put a ball in. Lingard, he's passing it back and forth with Lingard right now. And now it's back to midfield. Go figure, a back pass.
So how is Pogba doing in the midfield? Not heard either of you guys mention him at all.
I mean, he's had a few decent passes, but it's been nothing outstanding yet. Ooh, Pogba just had, literally as we're talking about it, Pogba literally just had a shot go just wide.
His goals are my favorite. They're always awesome.
Yeah.
They're never just like, oh, I tapped it in.
I mean, that's actually a great talking point. Why do you think that we haven't gotten the Paul Pogba that was at Juventus?
Apparently City are 2-0 up now on West Ham.
I did predict City winning that match 4-0. So.
Oh yeah, Sam, you're right. Yeah, definitely. A lot of people.
I've been Pogba, to be honest, and I always, just because I find him to be talent-wise a top 2 midfielder in the world with De Bruyne, and I don't know the answer why we haven't gotten more out of him. The one thing I hope is Pogba does not leave before we get a chance to see him under another manager. That's all I want to see him under like an attacking manager, and then see what happens. If it's another year after that,
hold on. Crystal Palace have a chance here. They're in the ATR box, but it just got squandered. Guy tried to make a pass in the box, and it got intercepted by our guy. But yeah, sorry about interrupting you, Jared. But there was a pretty decent chance there for Crystal Palace.
So that was down to Zaha, yeah.
So the pass was heading towards Zaha, but I believe that it was Milivojevic that had the ball on the top of the box.
Okay.
Bad pass from Darmian there. Now Zaha's got the ball, shot just wide from Zaha. Oof.
And there we go, the first mistake from Darmian.
Oof.
But see, I guess that's the difference, right? In our defense, every one of our defenders makes one mistake a game. It's almost like clockwork.
I'm sorry, by the way, that was Lingard that made the bad pass. I couldn't see who was on camera at the minute.
I saw Darmian make something there, but did I
But we're back in our own third, back in our final third now. Looks like it's going to go out for a corner. Ball went out for a corner. Manchester United have a huge corner here, guys. Sir Alex Ferguson on the TV. Sir Alex, please come back right now.
Manchester United wants to know how Darmian is playing.
He's been okay. I mean, Jared. Okay.
The logical result says so close for Palace, and the crowd are booing.
I mean, I don't have the sound on, so I mean, I wouldn't know if the crowd are booing, but
I don't blame them if they are booing.
I mean, yeah, I know. Obviously, what are we 20 minutes in? Just over 20 minutes.
We're in the 21st minute right now. We're just about to head into the 22nd minute.
And no shot on target yet from United at all.
Nope. We've had a few shots go wide, but nothing on target.
Ben Casey says we can't do anything with corners. It's always, we might as well just let it go for a goal kick, can't we, really? We really love Lingard to score in this one, says Luca. Kwame says Darmian has not been okay.
I think he's been okay. I'm not saying he's been good by any means. I'm just saying that he hasn't done anything to hurt the game.
Eppelson Epps says, Rance, if you're watching this, Lingard is not good. He ain't even great. Never going to reach the levels of any top player below par.
Martial's got the ball here on the left. Passes to Lingard. Lingard put a shot in. It bounced off the guy and then bounced right off of Martial. Now it's going out for a goal kick. So I think that they might be booing because of Zaha. I think they're booing Zaha. Now, I don't know why they'd be doing that, but...
Danny Green says Darmian gets slated no matter what. I do find it strange that Darmian has come in at right back, especially when Mourinho said in his press conference that Valencia was going to play. I do find that a bit of a strange one. Darmian's not been used. Actually, I think he's been used once this season. I really thought he would have gone with Valencia for the experience, or Dalot. I mean, would have been a good game for Dalot to be in this one.
Yeah.
So real quick, on that last bit of an attack that we had, Pogba went to play the ball out to the right, but it bounced off of who is that? It bounced off of somebody's head. I couldn't quite see who it was, but hit off their head and he went down pretty quick.
Is it Benteke? Because then we've helped them even more.
I'll be able to tell you here in just a second. I mean, that was a pretty decent ball to the head that he just took there.
Let me see.
Was it Benteke, Jared?
Yeah, hold on. He's walking off. I gotta see the guy's name.
I don't know all the players in the Crystal Palace team. I only know they're top 3 or 4 guys.
So Milan Shah says, who is the captain? So for United, it's Ashley Young, who's on the left back spot because Luke Shaw is suspended.
And then Milivojevic is captain for Crystal Palace.
Michael and KD says Kuyate.
Yes, there we go.
Chico Kuyate.
Sorry, guys. Like I said, I don't know all of the Crystal Palace players. I'm not going to lie about that. I know basically their top 3 or 4.
So no one had. I think, judging by the reaction of you guys, I think I would say that Zaha's shot was the closest.
So far, yes. Pogba just played a decent ball back to the top of the box, and nobody could get on the end of it.
Yeah.
Well, right now, Crystal Palace are on the counter, 2-on-3. Ball to Zaha. It's going wide open shot. Ooh. So Van Aanholt barely put the shot left, but he had a wide open net to basically put it wherever he wanted and couldn't put it on target.
Wow, so dangerous again for United. I mean, it seems like Zaha's involved in everything that Palace are doing at the moment.
He's by far their most involved player.
Yeah.
So somebody said this game is so scripted.
Such a scripted game, says Roy King. Yeah, it's like a game of FIFA. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. This is all we're actually doing. Jared and I aren't even watching. We're actually playing a match of FIFA against each other.
We're announcing that, yeah. No, but I mean, it's expected. We said though they should be up. Like United should be up. They've had a couple chances. They haven't really hit it. I think the more we let Palace get into this game, the better it is for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a few people saying that we've been so boring, and honestly, I completely agree. We really haven't created anything serious. Crystal Palace have had by far the better opportunities. Like we've had a majority of the possession. Well, Lingard might be getting. Yeah, so Soko fouled Lingard here on the edge of the 18-yard box on the right-hand side, and Soko's getting a yellow card.
Well, also, yeah, Matic and Zaha were fighting a little bit back there, just in case anyone realized. But I think Zaha was told, it's like, you wouldn't fight with your grandfather, would you? So, it's left alone.
Badabus Thing says, this is horrific. I mean, first nearly 30 minutes, I mean, do United look disjointed at all? I mean, do they look like they're suffering from a bit of international...
They look like they're going through the motions, if that makes sense. You know, like,
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, they don't look like they're overly pressing. They don't look like they're running after the ball, but they're doing enough to keep Palace
at bay.
Not dominating. Yeah, exactly. At bay is the right word.
Jared, what it looks like is, and Mark has said this multiple times, but it looks like that we literally play to, like, we do our game plan every week for whatever the competition is. Mata with Mata put in a hell of a free kick there for Chris Smalling, and Chris Smalling just barely headed it wide.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to ruin my head until it gets its 125,000 a week.
So it sounds to me like both teams are attacking the game, but Crystal Palace are having the better chances.
Just to amplify what a shit move that was by Smalling, no way, shape, or form should he have missed that. It was a perfect free kick, past the goalie, and Smalling, for some reason, heads it into the stands, because obviously he's Chris Smalling, and that's where we're at.
He literally headed it straight down into the ground and wide.
When, as a football player, do you learn to head straight down and wide instead of at the goal?
I mean, Jared, I honestly think if he puts that anywhere on target, that's a goal. Anywhere on target.
Well, yeah,
keeper wouldn't have had a chance.
There was no keeper because he already missed it after Mata's free kick. But that's where Mata's unbelievable. Definitely the most creative player with Martial on the pitch and the ability to create something whenever he has the ball.
I mean, so guys, I know that we've all kind of clamored for the 4-2-3-1, but do you guys think that, playing Mata at the 10 and going to a 4-2-3-1 would be better for us?
I'm a big fan of the 3-5-2 for United. I just think it suits all their personnel from what they have. The three centre-backs, you could have Bay, Smalling, Lindelof, Luke Shaw on the left, Delo on the right, Pogba, Pereira, Fred, and then Martial, Lukaku up top, Martial, Rashford up top. I just think it suits. I just think we got the players to play that.
Ashley Young's got the ball left here right now. Puts in a cross. Lingard. Oh! Oh, man. Come on, Lingard. Martial. Oh! Man. 2 shots on goal back-to-back, guys.
Yeah.
So Jesse Lingard had a shot. Keeper made a good save. And then ball got put back into Anthony Martial. And Martial headed it and put it right to the keeper. But really wasn't a lot he could have done on such a short reaction time.
Andrew Rossi's made a contribution. Thanks for that. It says they just look so confused on offence. No, there's no timer today, Lynn, unfortunately. But
I mean that was by far the best spell of attack that we have had so far. Crystal Palace on the counter here. Darmian clears it.
I mean, it seems to me like everyone is shooting apart from Lukaku.
Yeah, honestly, Lukaku really hasn't been involved in this game.
Yeah.
Gotta say though, gotta be a good game plan. If I'm just saying impartially, Lukaku not shooting is probably a positive.
I like how you try and turn a positive spin on everything, Jared. Yeah.
You know that's not true. But I would just say that, yeah, Lukaku is just what I mean. At this point, I feel like we're stuck with him. Another $90 million brick that we have to deal with.
So I did something on a channel, and we basically pretended to be the board, and we looked at the cost of each player.
By the way, let's just discuss that one. That was. I just want to be clear. Eddie Howe would have been a phenomenal addition and a change in coach, which I've been saying for a good year now that he would be a good replacement for Mourinho. Don't know where people get those opinions.
Has Smalling and Lindelof been troubled at all yet?
No, not really. I think anytime they've been troubled, it's been on a break, right? Or a counter.
Yeah, it's been like where they've been like there was only one time where there was a 3-on-2, and it was Lingard and Smalling came back, but in reality, I mean Darmian should have been probably down there further. Well, right now Crystal Palace are on the attack again. Ball goes out wide, cross in, and De Gea's got the ball. So I'm not necessarily digging this new haircut from De Gea. I don't like him not having some longer hair.
Peter's falling asleep apparently. AFAF says Zaha is bossing our defence. Ryan Beale says wouldn't be surprised if we draw this game.
So Zaha's got the ball right now on the left. Looks like he was ready to school Chris Smalling. Chris Smalling looked like he was ready to fall down.
So people are still asking where's Mark. So people who are joining late, Mark is at the game. Mark will be doing fan cams after obviously the game is finished with Flex. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel for that. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you're new. United Stands live every night at 8 PM. And also join in on the Discord as well. Okay.
Which, by the way, to talk about it earlier, so saying nobody would take Lukaku. Well, according to transfermarket.com, Lukaku's value is at 100 million euro right now. And I was like, how?
In what world is that true? Who would buy it?
Is it based on his Belgium form?
We really could have gotten some money out of him if we sold him after the World Cup.
Yeah. I honestly think we probably could have gotten about 120 after the World Cup.
I know. Talk about a stock price going down.
A couple of people are saying Mark's the one in the crowd booing.
Yes.
Probably is. He probably is. Yeah. Slow long ball, parking the bus like always, embarrassing, says Nicholas. So is it being played like that? Is it long ball football now?
I haven't noticed any real long balls. It's not been bad, but I mean we have played a few long balls.
City are up 3-0.
Yeah. I think
Awesome.
Sterling had a tap in. I think on there.
Sane.
So what channel is the game on? So in America it's NBC Sports Gold. In Ireland it's Sky Sports, and in the UK you're pretty much screwed because it's not on.
Just so you guys know, Milivojevic dribbled the ball really deep into the box and then kicked it off of Young, and so right now Crystal Palace are going to get a corner. So and I always am nervous on our corners defensively.
Nervous about everything at this point.
You can't luck says United 6 goals attempts, 2 shots
Ball
on goal,
in.
58 possession.
And it's cleared out.
We've had a contribution from Rashid King. Thanks for that. It says City 3-0 up and we haven't had a proper shot. Hashtag Jose out.
We've had 2 shots on goal. I wouldn't say we haven't had a proper shot. Lingard had a decent shot. The Martial header was nothing serious, but come on, Pogba, you got to control that there.
Kwame says, but there lies the problem. The World Cup tells me what Lukaku can do in an attacking system, not necessarily as a starter, but as a squad player. Yeah, Kwame, yeah. I mean,
£100 million for a squad player.
That's exactly what I was saying. On the show is like you can't if you can get $100 million for a squad player, you've got to sell somebody like that.
I just wish we had like an Icardi who's lethal up front. I mean, I hate to say Griezmann would have been perfect, but he would have been perfect. And you look at like who's clinical in front of goal and who takes one chance a game and actually makes something of it, and that's what this team would have needed. And Lukaku is not that by a long shot.
Lukaku needs like 4 or 5 attempts before he even bags one.
Right.
That's just the thing with him. He's not clinical enough. He was good for Everton, and I think he was on loan at West Brom when he was at Chelsea, I think. But yeah, for United, he's just not the striker we need. He's definitely not. He's too cumbersome.
So Pogba just had a shot, went over the goal by a couple feet.
But still no goalie's made a save yet?
So Crystal Palace keeper has made 2 saves.
Okay. Oh yeah, Martial and Lingard, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, Pogba hasn't been anything special today. He's made a couple of good passes, but I mean he's definitely lost the ball a couple of times too. I mean, if I was to give him a rating so far, I'd be giving him about a 5. It's been nothing more than average.
What about Matic then?
Matic, I'm not even noticing. I don't think he's even passed the ball anywhere but backwards. Literally, as we say that, Matic passes the ball backwards to Ashley Young.
So, Mindstorm says no tempo.
Pogba cross in. Ooh.
Mindstorm says no tempo, tenacity, creativity, slow as anything. So we're on the.
It's all accurate. We just look disjointed. It never looks like. There's very few goals that we score that are team oriented, 5-minute setup, beautiful goals. It's like a normal cross in. Dinky dink and who
Martial's on an attack here, guys.
Oh.
Martial ball to the top of the box, and it wasn't a very good one. Damn it!
It's like even when Southwick says "damn it," he's positive. Like he's so happy.
God, no,
dude, the thing is like I feel like we should be and this is where it's frustrating. Is we should be creating so many more chances based on how much of like possession we've had and attempts we've had, but we've really created nothing serious.
No, and this is where you get into that little hole where we're tied. The Palace come out in the half and dink one in and then set up shop, and we get one back, and we walk out here with a draw.
We got a corner here, guys. Mata's going to be putting in the corner.
Yeah, waste of time.
Ball in, and keeper's got it.
Yeah. Our corners have been atrocious for years. I think the one player that we had who was decent at putting a corner into the box was Daley Blind.
Yeah.
What was that? Pogba put the ball back up to the top of the box for Lingard, but he didn't put enough pace on it. And Crystal Palace now are back in their own in their final third.
Yeah, I mean, VME 1111 says Crystal Palace are playing without any fear. I think this is the thing. Teams just do not fear coming to Old Trafford anymore.
No,
no. A lot of that I think is down to Mourinho playing the negative defensive tactics. because teams know, Leicester teams know they can come to Old Trafford, they can have a go. They're not going to
Van
get
Arnold's
beat.
got the ball here, puts the ball to the Zaha. Zaha's got the ball in the 18-yard box. He's trying to school Smalling, and it's going to go out for a corner. Oh my God! Come on, guys.
A couple of people asking what the score is. The score's on the screen. It's 0-0. Attack, says Obi Waluigi. Shrek Obi. That's a good name. Yeah. Bit of a mouthful.
I've seen a lot of people say it very poor and uninspiring. Like, it's true.
The mantra United this year.
Nick Carter, you can go. I ain't having that on the channel. What channel is it on? So it's on NBC Sports Gold in America, Sky Sports in Ireland, and it's not on in the UK. I'm not watching the game, KB. I'm just listening to Jared and Andrew commentate on it.
Well, the game's boring, so to be fair, you're not missing anything anymore.
There's a good comment here from Simply Sofas. Real United fans will back the manager and the players. Put your daggers away, fake fans. I don't think it's nothing to do with that. I think everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So,
Yeah, I think this is a dangerous theory, Marcus, right? It's like you should be able to criticize anyone you want on the team because you're a fan. Because you're a fan, you should be able to criticize them. It's like you criticize anyone, and if it's that, people they don't take it well. It's with anyone.
It's called constructive criticism for a reason. Like, we're not just criticizing people just to criticize them. Ooh, Martial's in here, guys. Oh, my goodness.
So it seems like the only one that's actually trying or causing a threat at the minute is Martial.
Martial probably has been our best attacker so far. Pogba put in a good ball for him, and the defender barely beat him to it. I mean, like, barely beat him to it. But, I mean, it's called constructive criticism for a reason. Yeah. It's not like we're just saying, oh, this person's crap, this person's crap. Like, I don't think there's anybody that we're criticizing that we don't have a reason for.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been critical of Matic because he's slow and he's only plays balls backwards. I mean, Pogba hasn't been very good today. I mean, the tactics look like so far it's just been to, like, try and keep the ball, and I mean, try and not let the ball get out of your possession.
So I mean, the Crystal Palace centre backs they've not really. Doesn't sound like they've had much to deal with either. I mean, United not really. I mean, yeah, okay, they're attacking, but nothing of any substantial problems for Crystal Palace back four yet.
No, not really. Nothing serious, at least. By the way, we've just committed 3 fouls in a row on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I mean, your Palace are coming into the game now too, which is even worse.
Yeah.
And they look more inspired. They look like they want to win. They got a free kick. I mean, Andrew's probably seen the free kick already.
Actually, free kick's just about to come in for me.
Okay, perfect. So we cut you guys out of the waiting.
And so ball went in the net, but it looks like it's been goal was disallowed. I'm gonna mute my mic for a second.
But who scored it?
Oh, here we go. So I'm watching now. So they're taking the free kick. Over into Kouyaté, and then it seems like
it's ruled offsides.
Yeah, offsides. That seems ridiculous.
A lot of people in the comments saying it was an own goal.
It would have been an own goal by Lindelof, but Kouyaté was offsides. Not by a lot, but he was offsides.
So was it really, really far offside, or was it minimal?
No, just his arm.
Yeah, it was just his arm.
Or
maybe his shoulder.
Very little offsides. But,
so
again...
United lucky to get away with that one?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was honestly like I look at it and I'm like, I don't know how you guys feel about offsides, but I mean, like if I only see an arm offsides, I mean, is that really offsides?
Well, technically, it's
legs are.
yeah. I mean, it's a body part, isn't it? You're offside. It's behind the defender, so yeah.
I mean, I think it's literally only an arm. If your entire body is still behind the guy, I don't know. I wouldn't want that ruled offsides for Manchester United.
Well, that's where you need VAR too, because even if they're right or wrong, that could be called 50% one way, 50% another way, and that's where you want like a video to be able to just make it clear.
There's a topic, Jared. I mean, we could talk about VAR for a second since it's officially going to be in the Premier League next year.
Oh, you're right.
I think it's needed. I think it's very, very, very needed. I think at this point the referee should not be impacting games at all. But I don't think it should be like we have in American football, which is terrible. You don't want it to slow down the game. You want it to be quick, move on, and make sure a penalty is called correctly or an offsides is called the right way. That's it. Nothing else.
So we are, was it 45
Nearing
minutes in?
time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Has the board gone up yet for how long injury time is or anything?
It was 1 minute of stoppage time. We just 46 minutes, so I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay. We've got a contribution here from Rids39. Thank you. It says our squad is just not good enough. Do you know, I'm not going to say I totally agree with it, but you are right in certain positions. It just isn't good enough. We need a lot more quality than what we've got.
It's halftime.
And it's half time. So, I mean, thoughts on the first half then, guys? I mean, what do you think?
Thoughts are for anyone that's joining us now, you missed nothing. So congratulations.
Literally nothing.
Yeah. I think that's the thoughts. It was boring. It was 0-0, and we probably let Palace get back into the game, and they're going to come out strong.
So, Andrew?
Yeah. I mean, Jared put the nail on the head there. I mean, there was nothing that happened in that first half. Yeah. I mean, we had 2 shots on goal. They had a goal that was disallowed, and in all honesty, like there was nothing exciting that happened in that first half at all.
Okay. Do you two want to go and get yourselves a drink or something?
Yeah,
I'm good. I've got my drink in here.
Yeah. Okay. Jared, do you want to get a drink or something to eat? Yeah.
I'll probably refill the coffee cup.
Yeah. Well then, fill off your cup and then don't leave the call though. Just
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So, KB, what are my thoughts? Well, my thoughts is I think the talking point of the half is the offside goal. Judging from what the 2 lads were saying and what you guys were saying in the comments, the correct decision, just offside, but it's an own goal. Should it have stood? Maybe not. Dilly says the team is crap. Jag says Lukaku's not good enough. Paul Robinson says, anyone else notice a pattern? First 15 minutes good, fade away, opposite team takes over after 30. Do you know what, Paul? I think that's a great comment.
Yep.
I was going to say that in the first half. It's like we just can't play 90 minutes of football. We've done our attacking now in the first 45 minutes. So second half, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say we're just going to sit out there and soak up the pressure.
Yeah. Marcus, you want statistics too? So 57% possession. We had 252 passes and 83% passing accuracy. We had 7 attempts and 2 attempts on target. Palace were 4 attempts, 0 on target. So pretty even.
But yeah, I think when you talk about the statistics and that, I mean, from what people are saying in the comments and YouTube guys, I think Palace have probably had the better chances.
Oh, definitely.
The only chance really that stood out to me that I heard was the Martial and Lingard double save. Palace at least have had the ball in the net. They look threatening. They seem like they're quite composed and compact at the back. And Lukaku again is the disappointment for me because he's not been involved in any of the opportunities. So
Lukaku has been a non-existent man for the most part. I mean, he had that one cross right in the first 10 minutes, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. This is the problem for me. We're at home, right? We should not be playing defensive football. We should not be worrying about what opposing teams can do to us on the counter attack. Because I remember going back many years ago with Sir Alex, a couple of seasons when he didn't spend big on players, and they had the mentality of you score one, we score two, and I think Mourinho should try and implement that into this team. But if it doesn't work, he's only going to come out and say, well, look, I've not got the players to do that. When really, in theory, you have, because you do have attacking players in that team. You've got the Pogbas, Pereira, Martial's, Rashford's, Lingard's, Luke Shaw can get forward down the left. Harry Delow can get forward down the right. So the players are there. It's just a matter of him putting the trust in them and getting them into the first team. But I mean, any changes, Andrew, at half time would you make? I mean, I thought maybe he would have brought Fellaini on after 10 minutes, to be honest. But
I do expect to see Fellaini early. I don't know if he'll make the change directly at halftime because kind of like what we were saying, it's like nothing special really happened.
Yeah.
So I don't see the Mourinho with him typically. I would say he would not typically make a change this early, even though bringing in somebody to change up the game a little bit would be for the better.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to ask me what I would do, I would take off Lukaku at the half and put in Sanchez.
Yeah, again though, that's not. I don't think Mourinho would do that because we know he likes to play the long ball, so he's not got that tall, bulky centre forward up there to bring that ball down and hold it up. If he takes Lukaku off, puts Sanchez on, then we're gonna have to play our football through the middle. I don't think Mourinho likes to do that, to be honest. Andrew Ellis says Jose fans all need to go into rehab. Free Runners says I think Mata off. I mean Mata, I was quite supportive of Mata. I thought this would really be his ideal game. We need that creativity, that spark, the pass to get in behind the Palace defence. And again, reading the comments and listening to you guys, he's not really had much of an impact on the game.
Matthew, I was literally just about to read that out that you put out on Twitter. Matthew said we want the samba sauce in our midfield, not the Serbian snail. Thank you for the contribution, Matthew.
So Mata. What do you? He's not really been involved in the game. Pogba as well. Been very quiet. He's had a couple of shots. Matic, it just seems to me, going by comments and listening to you guys, the game is just passing him by. Lingard as well. Not heard you mention him much either.
Other than the chance that he had that he had the keeper save, really hasn't done much. Honestly, so far in this match, and I don't know if you agree with me, Jerry, but there is nobody I would give above a 6 to. Except for maybe Martial, who would get a 6.5.
I think they played just as expected. They haven't done anything creative. There's nothing that I'm sitting here and I'm like, what an unbelievable job by this person. I think they're going through the motions. They haven't gotten the kick in the ass yet, it seems, for this game. So if we go down, I could see them then turning it on. But I don't know why we always have to go down for them to start turning it on.
Yeah, I'm at a loss on that one too, man. And it's something that I feel like we've all talked about. I feel like every United fan has talked about this. It looks like we always have to ask the question: what are we doing in training?
Well, this is it.
Are we training anything other than fitness?
Yeah, again, not watching the game, just listening to everyone on the channel. It seems like there is no. No one's talking to each other. They just look lost. There was a contribution. I think it was No, it wasn't Moses. I can't remember who it was now. Just saying that there's no togetherness. in that front line. There's no communication. There's nothing. They just look lost, and it's really bad. It is really bad, and I think that can only come down from what they're being told in training, surely, because as soon as they cross the white line, they've got to implement those tactics. They've got to play those tactics that they've been told out on that pitch, and the first half is what they've been told to do. So I'm absolutely dreading the second half, because we seem to have gone out to try and get the goal, to settle down, but on the other hand, Palace have been quite equal to what we've been doing, you know. I mean, Zaha's been instrumental in a couple of their attacks. He's had a couple of shots. They've had the ball in the net as well. Okay, rightly ruled out for offside, but it's still there. The danger signs, the warning signs are still there to what Palace can do if we don't get this game sewn up in the second half.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you really did nail it there, Marcus. I mean, it honestly, it's worrying right now, because but based on the way the game has gone so far, it looks like this is going to end 0-0.
Yeah, see, I mean, I was quite confident that United would win this game 3-0 before we even kicked off. I didn't think there was any way United could drop points. But after that first half performance, it just seems like they're lacking something. I don't know whether it's the confidence, motivation, but they're seriously missing something in there, because you can just tell by the way they're performing, and from what you guys are saying in the comments, it was Palace that had the better chances, and it shouldn't be like that at Old Trafford. We shouldn't be on.
Never.
It's like a white knuckle roller coaster ride. We don't know whether we're going to be playing well, whether we're going to be playing bad, whether we're going to scrape a win, whether we're going to lose. It's terrible. It shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be thinking, okay, let's nick a 1-0 at Palace at home, go into the Valencia game and qualify. Make sure we qualified for the Champions League. It shouldn't be like that at all. We are 8th in the league. We are absolutely miles behind. The golfing class between us and City, and I'm even going to say Liverpool, because Liverpool has some good players, it's astronomical. It really is. And unless they change the manager, I don't see how they're going to get out of it. I really don't.
I agree. And what's getting worse too? It's always concerning when players disimprove coming back from an international break, because it makes it seem like they were happier, which every one of our players is, when they're in the international team. And it's certain teams step up. City look great again. They're all fine. 3-0 first half looks normal. Isn't that what you want to see when your team comes back for an international break? And it's like, I bet you, Harry Kane's going to have a world beater today with Tottenham and Chelsea. Because, again, you see how much he loves playing an international break, and then he likes playing at Tottenham. Yeah. I just feel that nobody likes
I've just got to read this contribution out a minute, Jared. Hang on a second. So, Bada Bing's thing, thanks for the contribution. It says, my friend who's a Scouser fan, he enjoys seeing us struggle, but hates to see how it gets ruined. Thanks for the contribution, mate. But, this is the thing. We are, I think, beginning to be that laughing stock now. I think there's a lot. We're
becoming the new Arsenal.
Well, I was just about to say, there's a lot of things at stake here. The history of our club and what Manchester United stand for are at jeopardy with this guy in charge, because he's doing the complete opposite, and he will never change. So the only way to rectify that and to get our identity back and to climb back up the table is to get rid of the guy. I mean, I can't see a way out. I really can't. I just think if we stick with him, it's only going to get worse. And there's a saying that it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think this is probably 8th position in the league coming up to Christmas. It's absolutely horrendous. 12 points off the top. I mean, if we drop points here and City are winning, that's going to take us to 14 points off the top. Double figures in November. I was saying the title was gone in October. There was no chance of us winning the title this season. And that pains me to say that. 2 months into the start of a new season, already we're out of a title race. It's pathetic.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
When do you...
I'm looking... So we've gotten some of the stats about, where we've been attacking from. We've had 53% of our attack coming down the left-hand side. But, that's all the evidence that we need that, Martial is as good as we say he is. But I just we talked about it earlier about the stock prices plummeting and everything like that, and you would think that if you're going to be having your stock prices drop like that, that the board would react. You would think that the board would react because ultimately, to them, if money does matter the most, then you would think that the best way to make money would be to be challenging for titles.
Yep.
Jared, I know we talked about it way earlier, but I mean, Mourinho wasn't given the center back. You throw the quotes for that. He wasn't given the center back that he wanted in the summer. So if we weren't going to back him to the fullest extent, why not just sack him? Well, if he wanted the center back, he should have been given it. And listen, I wanted Mourinho gone in the summer, but guess what? If you're going to keep the manager, at least give him the signing that he wants.
By the way, I think we missed one of the super chats.
I've got it here from Karen Banzel. Thanks for the contribution. Yeah. It says front three have chemistry if the same three always play. And
that's a perfect comment.
Yeah.
We switch the team every week. I mean, he's had some consistently recently, but then he switched the defense, he switches this, he switches that. It's I just never am ever confident that we're going to put out the same team week after week, and haven't been since he's been here.
But again, I mean, Vandy Candy makes a good point here. We can't attack. Stop talking about centre backs, right? And I'm going to agree with that because I don't see how him bringing in another centre back, right, on top of the 6 or 7 that we've got already, would help us put chances away.
Well,
I completely agree.
I have a counter to that because if you're talking about that, Mourinho's teams have always been best when they've counterattacked. And again, I get Mourinho's not the right manager, but just moving beyond that for a second, when you are a counterattacking manager, if your defense is shit, your team can't play. You can't structurally have a bad defense and not be able to counterattack. So the defense has been a hole in the back. If we had gotten in, let's say, a Skriniar, a Koulibaly, a Milinkovic, not Alderweireld, he hasn't been great. I mean, but someone you could have built around for the future, it wouldn't have detracted from the team, and it would have allowed this team to be able to attack up front. But
the thing, hang on a minute, Andrew. The thing is there, right, is the fact that our defence last season, wouldn't we like the second or third best defence in the league? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed this season. So, the only thing that could have changed is the mentality of the players that this guy, Mourinho, has instilled in them. Second or third best defence in the league last season, we finished second, 19 points off. That form from the defence should have carried into this season because nothing has changed. The personnel hasn't changed. He brought in Delo. You know?
Yeah, I think overall when you're looking at what he needed, he identified that his center backs weren't good enough. And again, not saying that he shouldn't do more with what he had, but I think the people who he got to play the way that they did that was an overperformance last year. Just my opinion. I think that if he had a Koulibaly,
the second half has kicked off.
Okay, right. All right.
If we had a Koulibaly, I think we would have been in a lot better shape. Again, I think you need a defender to build around, and we don't have that. Bailly's very good, but he's too injury prone to build around. What about when he goes out?
Yeah. Well, this is where Phil Jones comes in, doesn't it?
I love Phil. It's the salmon boots.
It's the pink boots, guys. It's the pink boots. So, any changes, boys, or not?
No changes, but we did just have a decent chance. It was deflected off the defender. Lukaku would have had a free header if the defender hadn't deflected it, and it went out for a corner.
Did he deflect it, or did Lukaku just miss it?
Yeah.
No, it was deflected. It looked because Ashley Young put the cross in, and it looks like it would have landed directly onto his head if it hadn't been for the defender getting in the way.
See, I'm with G Metz on this. G Metz says, "Oh God, stop the centre back excuse." I'm with him on this because I think a lot is being made out about it. I think if he trusted the players that he's brought in, i.e. Bailly, and okay, he might be injury prone, but if he trusted them players and maybe got Rojo back into it, At one stage, Rojo and Beatty was our best centre-back partnership, I thought. But Imrano TV, thanks for the contribution. He says, we were only second best defence last season because of De Gea. True. This season, De Gea has been average. That's why the defence is being shown up. We did need to add another defender. So, someone
Not inaccurate.
Backing your argument, Jared, yeah?
I think both arguments are correct, and they're not arguments. Both points are accurate. Jose needed another defender because the defense we have isn't good enough, no matter who the manager is. And Mourinho's tactics have stifled the team completely. So they're both accurate. I just think that we would have been better off with a rock to build around.
I think we've got that rock already in Bay.
I do not.
No.
No, I agree with you, Marcus, personally.
Of course you would, Captain.
30 million pounds. So you know what? When you really consider it, if Bailly's the second part of a perfect defense, I'm okay with that. But there's no way we should be makeshifting people around Bailly. Like, it shouldn't be Bailly Rojo, Bailly Smalling, Bailly Lindelof. It should be a Bailly and Koulibaly. Someone along those lines with him, and I agree with you.
See, Lynn Hall says here, good comment from Lynn. Rojo has finished sadly. Bailly needs a run and a show of trust. Exactly. I think, I'm not. I wouldn't entirely agree on the Rojo comment, but I think Bailly definitely needs a run of games. Whether he's just trying to do his tough love because it's worked with Luke Shaw or not is a different thing. But he bought Bailly to shore up that defence, and he's not using him. So it's like Fred. He's bought Fred. He's not using him. How much more money do we want to give this guy to buy decent young players to build teams around and not play them? It's senseless.
My answer is exactly enough to buy one defender and see what happens. Yeah. But I want, again, I'm not saying we should keep him. I think at this point it doesn't matter what you buy Mourinho. So make sure that you're buying for the next manager.
So Mata puts in a cross and Martial, the goalkeeper came out and got it.
Not much change from the first half then, Andrew?
Nope. Nothing at all. It's been pretty much just the same old. And Crystal Palace right now on the counter.
So Andrew Rossi with another contribution, thank you. It says, if I hear one more thing about injuries, I'm going to lose it. The only thing injured is Jose's egos when players don't agree with him. Thanks for the contribution, mate. Yeah, I think he's got a point there. Mourinho never accepts responsibility for anything. It's always someone else's fault.
Yeah, I mean, we've always known that about Mourinho, though, right? Yeah. Like, he's never going to be the one to take the blame.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the comments why he was responding to Casillas the other day. It's pointless. What's the point of even rising to the bait to give him satisfaction about it? No point at all. Jay Hart says Fulham versus Southampton is more exciting than this game. Jonathan with a good comment here. He says,
"Oh my God, Pogba, come on!"
So Jonathan says it's a mentality thing now. The team mirrors the moods of the manager, even new players. It's so obvious that mentally the players are not performing for Mourinho, even if they try to. Over to the board. Yeah.
Also, Mark, can they have if anyone in the comments thinks they have an idea of who the next manager should be, I would be curious if people just type in a manager's name. I'm always curious what people think, because the differences in opinion comes from Podge, Zidane. Again, you could always say Eddie Howe. You can go in various options, but I'm just curious what people think.
See, Red
We're
Jedi.
missing anything in the game, by the way. They're passing the ball around and nothing's happening.
Yeah, same as always.
Yeah, Red Jedi says we can't win a title playing this style of football. I totally agree with it. I don't think we can. I am.
Don't lose faith. We have Jones and Fellaini on the bench, guys.
Yeah. I am DB says, guys, good job regarding your commentary, top notch. Where's Mark as well? So Mark is at the game. Mark will be doing fan cams after the game. So a couple of people asking as well what channel it's on. So one of you want to mention it?
Yeah, I got you, bro. So NBC Sports Gold. If you're in the United States, it's an app. that you have to have. And then if you are not in the States, and my understanding is in Ireland, it's on Sky Sports. But yeah, it's not available on regular TV here in the States.
Yeah. That's all right, Andy. No problem. Couple of people saying Brendan Rodgers.
Oh, stop! It's got to be a joke.
A couple of people saying Conte as well.
Conte would definitely be an interesting year, but I wouldn't want him more than a year. You know what's funny though? Again, every single Mourinho team, like after he leaves, it's like a rubber band snapping, and all of the potential is unlocked. Yeah. So it will be interesting to see, no matter who comes in, how good it gets the year after. Because I think for 1 year we're going to have a nice run. I don't think it'll go longer, but I think for 1 year we'll have a really nice run because people will be happy to be done with him.
Just so you guys know, we do have a corner that's about to come in here for Manchester United. Ashley Young puts in the corner, and it's headed clear by Crystal Palace. But I've seen managers in there from Pochettino, Zidane, Jardim, Eddie Howe. I saw a couple people say Giggs. I've seen a couple people say McKenna. Laurent Blanc I've seen by a few people.
See, now I agree with Jay Hart. Sorry, Harty. Whoever coming in should have Roy Keane as their assistant manager. I think Roy Keane, now he's away from Ireland, I think he would do in some capacity. The United board have got to try and get him in some capacity, even if it's just to give the players a kick up the arse. I think.
But do you think that would work with modern players, Marcus?
I think it would do, mate. Yeah, I think it would do, because I think having someone from, that sort of generation of player, get this team back to playing football, get this team not off social media altogether, but stop the stupid videos, stop the rap videos, we
don't have enough time to talk about that rap video.
No. But you could guarantee Keno would be in there and he would give that dressing room the shake-up that they needed.
Yeah.
So I think in some capacity they've got to try and get him in, definitely. Forget what's gone on in the past with Sir Alex and stuff like that. That could be a stumbling block, but we all know that Mourinho wasn't wanted first by the people at the top. So I think getting Roy Keane in there would be a really good move. Whether it will happen or not, I don't know. I don't hold my breath, but I think it would be a good move to get him in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, look, it's going to be an exciting, I know this sounds, what's the wrong, hypocritical. It's going to be exciting when this guy goes. You just hope that the board uses this opportunity to get fans back up again, because at this point, like, if it wasn't Mourinho out in the press and it was someone else, people would be rioting against the board at this point.
Yeah.
It's just people hate Mourinho so much, they're so focused on
it. Lukaku's going to put it in. Lukaku with the goal.
Offside.
It's a load.
A lot of people in the comments saying offside.
Yep, he was offside.
Yeah.
On a side note, I just figured he was going to screw it up, so I kept going.
I don't...
So talk us through it then. Talk us through it, Andrew. What happened?
So Ashley Young puts in a shot, and the keeper parried it like barely wide. But then Lukaku, it looked like he had gotten onside. I'm getting ready to get another chance to get a good look at it here. Honestly, it was the same thing with the Soko chance.
Yeah.
Last half, his arm was barely offsides. I mean, it was barely on the other side of the guy.
I don't know that he was. Am I crazy to say I don't think he was offsides?
Well, Jared, it's what I was talking about earlier. I feel like if your arm is the only thing in front of somebody, that shouldn't be an offsides.
No, but I'm saying, was his arm actually in front of him?
Barely. I'm talking like barely in front of him.
Because I mean, I don't know if he was offsides there.
It was close. Like, don't get me wrong, it was close, and it's something where the argument of VAR comes into play.
Yeah, I didn't think he was offsides either. I really didn't. But whatever. I guess to be expected, right?
Paul Robertson said he was onside.
Like, it really was. It was close. It was very, very close.
Cole T says he was offside. His arm was off. Archie says he was offside clearly. It's offside.
Clyde
Barely.
Sukum had a good one. Half of Lukaku is offside. Maybe the old Lukaku will be onside.
This is it, yeah. This is it. So Mark is at the game. But a couple of people who are asking there. Mark is at the game.
Luca, we say offside, not offsides.
There you go, Luca. There's your answer.
Any other issues that people have with us?
We got 2 subs coming on, Marouane Fellaini and Marcus Rashford. Lingard's coming off for Fellaini.
Okay.
And then who is Rashford coming on for?
So 15 minutes in the
And then
second
Mata
half.
is coming off for Rashford.
Oh, so Rashford will go right hand side.
Yep.
And then Fellaini. So we've got the static midfield then of Matic, Pogba, Fellaini.
Oh, Fellaini's going to become the new striker. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's funny? Fellaini's probably going to be the one to score the winner here, if there is a winner on our end.
Matteo Darmian does have a bloody nose right now.
Good.
Well, at least it
Let's
shows
go
he's done
celebrate.
something.
Yeah.
The guy runs, he bleeds.
Jesse Lingard also did not look happy to be taken off. He walked off the pitch.
Oh, get over it. And on a side note, Fellaini looks like an idiot without his mop on his head, and I hate it. I hated Fellaini before, but I do not like that he shaved his head.
I'm just going to watch Match of the Day tonight just to see his hairstyle.
It's ridiculous.
So Niall says that Matic has gone to centre back.
I haven't seen that officially yet.
But by the way, Nicholas Loader, the law states that a player is in an offside position if any of their body parts except the hands or arms are in the opponent's half of the pitch. So to be honest, I don't know that Palace's goal was offside, and I don't know if ours was either. Nice chance.
I agree with that. By that definition, yeah.
Everton have scored. On a side note, laughing stock we are. Guess we really are. I mean, we are a banter club. It's so a banter club. We really are. There's just no other way to put it.
Matic looks like he is still in the midfield, from what I'm seeing so far. Then for some reason they're putting. Why?
I am, Andy. Yeah, I am excited to see his hairstyle now. But so seeing as there's a bit of a quiet lull in the game, just want to say thanks for everyone for joining in today. We appreciate the 4,000 that's joined in today. Like we said at the beginning of the show and all through the show, Mark is at the game. So if you would please like the video and share it if you can, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. United Stands every night at 8 PM. So we've got some good content coming up for you. Mark's at the game, so the fan cams will be up on the channel probably about an hour after the show. And hopefully everyone's enjoying the Discord service as well. If you're get involved in that. Some really good conversations on there. So Matic, been quiet, started quiet, second half?
Yes. That would be the entire team there, Marcus.
Yeah. What about
The entire
Pogba
team has
then?
been quiet.
I mean, I've not heard Pogba mentioned much.
Pogba's given the ball away a couple of times. Hasn't been, like, honestly, the thing is it's to the point now where anytime anybody wants to talk about like a specific player being bad, I'm just like, but is it just that player or is it the entire team that's bad?
Yeah.
Because like you can't just put it down to only one guy.
So I think I mean, the final change, if he makes the final change, I mean, who'd you go for, Sanchez or Fred? I think the obvious one is Sanchez.
Shot in. De Gea made a great save there. And great double save. Jesus, Dave, thank you.
So VME says Jesus Christ. Matthew says Dave saves. I mean, this
terrific double save. Absolutely terrific double save.
And mind you, an absolutely terrible play by was that Pogba? I think
Pogba just put a terrific ball into Marcus Rashford, who's in down the right, and then mixed up his feet. So, I mean, guys, Marcus Rashford's somebody that kind of, disparages opinion. I mean, do you guys think that Marcus Rashford is just a pace merchant, or do you think that he might actually come good?
He needs to leave to become good. Like, he needs to go on loan at least in one club where he plays every single week for a year. I think if he went to, like, a Fulham, that would have been a good one, or somewhere where he really could have excelled as the striker and developed, I think that would have been good. But he needs the time to be away from United to be great at United.
I completely agree, Jared. I think that a loan where he can play week in and week out would be best for him.
And get away from all of the people.
Support your local person. You can go ahead and leave. Without having worldwide support, Manchester United would not be the club that they are.
Yeah, that's true. On a side note, also, it's like when you look about it, like he would be out of these stupid videos. He wouldn't be around Lingard on film all the time. I just think it would be good for him to get away from it all. Become a professional rather than a kid. Because he's still a kid.
I think Rashford just needs to be managed properly. I think all these players just need a different idea in their head. A lot of these players are attacking players and they're being used in the completely wrong way.
I mean, I agree. I think it does come down to a lot of our players are being used improperly, and it sucks. It sucks to see because, people talk about it all the time that our defense is so bad. Well, if our defense is so bad, why in the hell are we not just all out attacking all the time and preventing our defense from even having to worry about it?
A couple of people asking how Lindelof is doing.
Lindelof has been good.
Yeah.
Lindelof got bailed out of that own goal, but aside from that, he's been doing well.
Sanchez is coming on right now.
Right, this will be interesting then. Does Lukaku come off or does he stay on?
I'm fine taking Lukaku off, putting Fellaini over there, and then keeping Martial on.
I don't know why they're not going to allow him to come on right now. So the referee's not allowing him to come on.
Oh, perfect.
So we've got just over 20 minutes to go.
We're at the 67th minute now.
Yeah. Right. 23 minutes left.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday weekend, MJ. If you're here. And nothing happening in the game at the moment.
Like there's nothing going on. There's nothing for us to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about. There's just nothing going on in this game.
I do mean about the game. There's a lot to talk about in terms of why the hell we continue to play this way. But I mean,
yeah, it's true. Even for the staunchest Jose In supporter, you'd have to be able to say different ideas in this team would be great to see. Even if you say back the manager 100%, or you're not a real fan if you don't back the manager, which is not true. But even if you believe that, you have to at least be open to another manager helping. You have to. Because the tactics never really work out for us. We tend to get lucky and nab it at the end of the game.
Guys, honestly, what I'm starting to get worried about is that Crystal Palace are just going to nick a 1-0.
Yeah, we spoke about this in the beginning of the game. It's like if we can't put it away early, they're going to stay in the game. And if it gets to like 80, 83, 84 minutes, it could be quite dangerous.
I mean, and so one of our former guests, Phil Brown, who joined Mark, about a month ago, Marcus?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he put out a tweet that says, no intensity, no cohesion, no creativity. And Pogba is coming off for Sanchez.
Wow.
By the way,
I mean, don't get me wrong, Pogba hasn't had a great game, but I mean, it's at least he's been noticeable on the pitch. Like,
you want the difference too is like, so again, unfortunate, but you look at Liverpool and Salah just scored, and you knew that they were going to win that game against Watford. You knew that there'd be a way. Whereas, like, as United fans, didn't we always think like that? And now we're going in and we're like, well, we hope we can get this win. We should be able to get this. It's Palace. This isn't even a real team.
I mean, the Pogba off there, that's a huge surprise for me. He's taken off one of our most explosive, creative midfielders there. He's going to leave Fellaini and Matic as
it's
season
Static,
ends.
Marcus. Get it right. It's Static.
Yeah, Static.
He was hurt. Just saying, right? Is he saving him for the Champions League game?
But isn't this game more important?
I mean, at this point, we're not going to win the league.
No, but he's got to get us into the top four. I mean, if we drop points here, Liverpool are winning, City are obviously cruising, Arsenal play tomorrow. You just can't afford to drop points here.
Insurmountable. It becomes an insurmountable lead that we're living up. And then, I mean, if we draw this game, we're at 21 points, and then fourth place is at 27. And Tottenham still have to play. So Tottenham or Chelsea will take up to 30 points. So that would mean the top three teams will be above 30 points or at 30.
I mean, this is getting beyond a joke now. I mean, Marlon's just said in the comments here, there's no creativity now. Mata's gone off. Pogba's gone off. So now it is literally going to be, I would think, the long ball.
Well, it's going to be Sanchez, Martial, and Rashford being the ones responsible for creating chances.
This is the frustrating thing about him. He takes, if it's not going his way, he will take the creativity out of the team and he'll just lump the ball forward in the last 15, 20 minutes. And I've got to say, that absolutely pisses me off, because we shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't have to resort to these long balls up to the cumbersome people in the hope that we can nick a 1-0 against a team that's going to be battling for like mid-table. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's absolutely pathetic. This team, Crystal Palace, we should be walking over them, especially at home with the crowd behind us, right? And there's just nothing. There's nothing there at all. Give us the fans, the paying fans, something to cheer about. But I mean, what can you cheer about here? He's took out the most well-known player in the team, and probably one of the most creative players in the team as well. Things are built around him in that midfield, and he's took him off and he's put Sanchez up there, who is just taking he's just taking us for a ride. Sanchez hasn't been good for like 8-9 months.
Correct.
It's awful, absolutely awful.
But what's the fix? It's just the fix really is firing him, right?
Yeah, but Active Dan says here, look, long balls is Sunday League football. This is it. We're not a Sunday League team. We are Manchester United. We've got an identity, and this bloke is absolutely killing the club. He's taking everything away. What the club stands for, the club's history. He's just basically.
That was great. So Marcus Rashford just had a great double slide tackle where he won the ball both times, and of course Sanchez passed the ball off to Martial, but put it way behind him, and Martial couldn't collect it. But that was a fantastic bit of play there from Marcus Rashford.
I mean, Paul Robinson says, even when we win 1-0, we have made no progress. We are shocking. This is it. There is no progress. Not just in terms of the tactics, but in terms of the way we play as well. It's absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
And it should not be like this. We've got absolutely billions and billions of pounds to spend. They won't spend it. They've got to spend it to improve the team, to improve the football. But no matter who Mourinho brings in, he just doesn't want to change his style because he's so arrogant, and he just believes that everything he does is right, and it's not. It's clearly wrong.
Like, what's so frustrating Is it? And I know that there will be some people, back to manager, blah blah blah. But like, all you have to do is go back and look at Manchester United from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and look at the way we played. Even go back to like Sir Alex Ferguson's last couple of years. I'm not saying his last couple of years were necessarily the greatest, but we always transitioned from defense to midfield to attack quickly and beautifully. Always. Why is it that we don't do that anymore? That's down to a managerial tactic. There's no other excuse for it.
Yeah, I was seeing on Twitter the other day, even in the newspapers in the UK as well, United are still in transition. How the hell can we still be in transition? Look at the amount of money we've spent since Sir Alex has left. We've had 3 different managers as well. Okay, each manager is probably...
Oh my god. We are so lucky to not be 1-0 down right now. So Crystal Palace, so Townsend had just drove the ball through the middle, right through our defense. Had a one-on-one with De Gea, and he puts the ball wide.
Yeah,
we are genuinely lucky right now. He skinned Matic, then let's see who he skinned next. Skinned Lindelof, and then puts the ball wide to De Gea.
I mean, there's a good comment here from AJ Neal. Football is about pace now. Where is this pace in this team? I mean, we've got none really. We've got no, apart from Martial, there is really no out and out pacey player in this team, and Rashford. But you can't be guaranteed that those 2 lads play week in, week out.
Well, he brings up a fantastic point. I mean, because it's the reason why we bought Fred. It's the reason why we've got Andres Pereira back. Like, these players are quick, attacking-minded players, and yet we don't use them. It doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you want to play people like Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Romelu Lukaku is one of the fastest players in the world, but when he gets going, he's pretty damn quick. I mean, we've got the people in the squad to be able to play a quick style, but yet Mourinho will not do it.
So the Scousers are 2-0 up, according to Andy Pandy. It's a joke, man. It's an absolute joke. City are away. I think Liverpool are away as well, and they're getting the results. We're at home.
And Watford are a way better side than Crystal Palace.
We're at home, and we're struggling to keep Townsend and Zaha quiet. I mean, it's pathetic, isn't it? Jared, I mean, come on. I can't be the only one that thinks like this, surely.
No, it's comical at this point. It's because, you know what? Like I said, I feel bad for Mourinho, but it's time. It's just time to make a change. Or as one of my good old buddies would say, it's time to go. It's time to go.
Go Vince McMahon. You're fired!
Yeah. But something has got to change here, because, I mean, like I said earlier,
God.
City win.
What the hell, guys? So they had an easy. They put the slowest ball back in, and Zaha manages to get on the end of it and puts it just wide.
And Liverpool are up 2-0.
Yeah.
Someone just said that.
Trent Alexander-Arnold scored. They're right back.
A 14-year-old.
They're right back.
We are really a banter club.
I mean, what is going on here?
What is going on?
Seriously, when you got opposing team, different teams scoring with their defenders, and we can't even. I mean, I've not even heard us had a shot on target in the second half.
Nope.
So it is again a story we can't.
Anthony Martial's gonna have a shot. Ooh, puts it just wide left.
Right. So it's not even on target.
Yeah. At what point is that? We just need now we need a goal, and then we can all complain about why Mourinho needs to leave afterwards. Because at this point, the damage to missing the Champions League would be so significant to the club, it's unbelievable.
Do you know what? Right, if we can't get a result against the lesser teams, what hope have we got of getting a result away at Anfield? and against Arsenal in a few weeks' time.
Well, I mean, you could take that statement two ways, right? Look at what we did last year at the Etihad. Look at what we did against Juventus. This team is better in games that are important than they are in games that feel unimportant, if that makes sense. The expected wins don't happen, but the unexpected wins do.
So
It makes no sense.
Canaba says we've had 3 shots on target the whole game, and 2 of them were in the first half.
Well, two of them were the quick double save from Hennessy.
Yeah.
I mean, the Crystal Palace right now are on the attack, and I mean the shot goes wide, but
they've got nothing to lose now, have they? Really? 10 minutes left.
I mean, honestly, if I was Crystal Palace, I would start throwing more people forward.
You go for the throat, don't you? Really? I mean, United should be chucking everything but the kitchen sink at them, but they're not. It sounds to me like United are just hanging on.
Pass by Ashley Young.
They're going to take the 0-0. But this guy is he's off his trolley. He really is. Top 4 by Christmas. Top 4 by Christmas. Are you fucking serious, man? You got no hope.
We're gonna have a free kick here on the edge of the box. Ashley Young got fouled by I couldn't. Was that the other the right back? I don't know his name. It's Van something.
Van Aanholt or
Van Aanholt, yeah.
No, it's Van Arnold's on the other side.
Where hold on. Juan Bissaka.
Maybe it's Juan some like WAN.
Juan Bissaka.
Ooh, hello.
What?
So I mean, Ashley Young put in a decent free kick, and the keeper had to make a late save.
Oh, all right. Yep, great. I hope everyone is. Yes, thank everyone for joining us. It's been fun having the ability to commentate on this enjoyable game.
Yes, it's been so great.
It's hilarious how far it's gone so quickly. It's so quick. Like, what happens if you just don't invest and you don't play well and you keep the manager who shouldn't be here?
Look, let me ask you guys something. So with what's going on, I mean, Jared, you mentioned how we struggle. Zaha's going to have a chance. No, okay. So with us struggling like we do against the lower sides, but it seems like we step up against the top 6 especially. I mean, why is it that we struggle against these lower sides? I mean, is it down to a lack of mentality? I mean, it's something that's kind of common in the modern game of these like quote unquote trap games. But I feel like United always fall into the trap.
Well, after these international breaks, I feel like what ends up happening is we don't. First of all, we definitely don't care. Like, the players aren't happy to be back. And then you take that a step further, and it's like in the city games, the games where players can make national press for unbelievable performances, they all seem to care. And it's like when they're playing Crystal Palace on a non-televised game, it's just like, I don't know, they just don't care. You have individuals who care, like De Gea has never struck me as a player who doesn't care. But I don't know. I don't see anyone sitting there and like giving 100%. They all look like they're just going through the motions. They do, and they just. That's on
Marcus, what do you think?
And get the players to care about playing Crystal Palace.
Right. Do you know what? I'm so nervous. I really am. I'm so nervous that Palace are going to get a winner here. I mean, listening to what you're saying, I'm clinging on, hoping that we get a point, and I'm thinking to myself, I shouldn't be feeling like this.
No.
Ooh, that was a decent bit of play there. Matic put in a decent backheel ball to Martial, but defender beat him to it.
Apparently, Liverpool down to 10 men. Henderson's got a red.
They'll still beat them.
I bet the over at 2.5, so I could use another goal in that game. And on a side note, you're right, Marcus. And it was like I made a joke to a friend, and I also think I've said it to you. It's like, as a United fan, we should all be given free therapy sessions after every United game. Because like, you sit there and you're like, when did you think rooting for this club would end in this? Every Saturday or Sunday, you are miserable. Like, perfect. We look like shit. What a Saturday. time to go out. No, it's consistent too. You're never just happy with the result. You have this idiot Fellaini coming on and actually scoring, and you're like, you can't even be excited because you're like, great, Mourinho's hero scores. It's brutal.
Ooh!
What?
Great save from Hennessy there. So ball came in, Lukaku put the header on it, and it was going for the bottom right corner. And, I mean, Hennessy barely got the fingertip on it. Yeah, I mean, he barely got the fingertip on it.
I only want an ooh if we've scored. Because now I think we've scored 7 goals, and I don't none of them have got it.
My heart can't take this, Andrew, so yeah, be careful.
Marcus, I'm just going to get you even more excited. Come on now.
Oh, yeah, now I just saw the play. I'm like, it's like watching with Goldbridge. You can't, you're 10 minutes behind. I'm 10 minutes behind Southwood. I'm like...
So how long's left, Andrew? I'm thinking 5 minutes.
So we're at the 84th minute right now.
So we've got just over 5 minutes to go, and it's still 0-0.
We're probably going to get about 4 minutes of stoppage time, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, apart from that chance, though, I mean, have United looked threatening in any way in that second half? Seriously,
You're funny.
Because, I mean, again, it's the story of the first half. All I've basically heard is Palace come forward.
Honestly, it hasn't been any different from the first half. I mean, that's the first real good chance that we've had all game was that Lukaku header there.
I feel like I'd rather have Alan Pardew dancing on the sideline than what we've got now.
You know what,
at least it would be interesting.
I've got to say this. I actually think anyone could get a performance out of this team except Mourinho. I really do. I just can't move past the fact that this is all down to him. I don't buy into the fact that he's not had the money, because he has. He's just chose to spend it poorly. But yeah, I just think it's, like you said earlier, Jared, it's time to go.
That's it.
Especially if we drop points here, because like Valencia, I mean, we're away in Spain midweek. I mean, that's going to be a tough one.
We play Young Boys midweek.
Oh, Young Boys, is it?
Oh.
Okay.
All right, well, even better. I'll take that. Blow that. He should be fired.
And you know, honestly, Marcus, I mean, you bring up a decent point there. I mean, you think about the signings that Mourinho has made, and I got asked this question midweek. Who do I think has been Mourinho's best signing? And I honestly struggled thinking of it, because I was like, you could say Zlatan, but like, I mean, Zlatan still wasn't great. He was good, but he missed loads of chances.
Yeah.
You could maybe go with Pogba, but I mean, Pogba's been inconsistent under him. I mean, I can't think of one specific signing that has been a great signing.
No, there isn't. No, there really isn't. Let's take some comments. Marcus says it's boring. Sean Tackett says do research against top 6. Spurs and City killed us so far.
Yeah.
Pointless embarrassment, says Jody. Where the hell did Rashford go, says Aaron. That's a good comment. Where is Rashford? Is he still on?
I mean, in all honesty, I mean, he's been decent down the right side. I mean, but since that little double tackle that he made, he hasn't really been involved.
I mean, this it's just not acceptable. I mean, I don't know what you two think, but I mean, for me, with the talent he's got at his disposal, the money he's been given, this is simply not good enough. And I think if it was any other manager in charge other than Mourinho, I think they would have got the sack by now. And I don't see why this guy has not been given the boot, because surely they must be thinking, if we make a fresh start now, if we have a clean break, someone else can get some positive performances out of this team. All right, if we lose, we lose, but at least we lose trying. You know, at least we'll drop points trying, not just drop points. I mean, sitting back at home, taking off Pogba, taking off Mata, the two most creative players I think that we've got, you know, it was pointless. I mean, has Sanchez done anything since he's come on?
Nope.
So again, you know, another guy who's on, you know, 400 grand a week, just on there strutting around. It's pathetic. It really is pathetic. And it's a shame. It's a shame because I'm sat here hoping now that we get a draw when we should have won this game comfortably. The logical result says the Scousers are 3-0 up.
I mean, in all reality, I mean, I'm not surprised by anything that is going to happen at Liverpool or for Manchester City because they're doing exactly what they should be doing.
But they're playing away as well. This is
Marcus Rashford has a shot deflected.
Yeah, they're playing away. These other clubs, they go away and they still play attacking football. We go away and we get absolutely dominated and battered. And we got our manager coming out. I mean, the Man City result, perfect example. We got our manager coming out after the game saying it was a good performance. I mean, what are you smoking? Seriously, what are you smoking to think like that? It was a good performance. I wish I had a fresh Fellaini to bring on. Give over. The amount of money you've had, and, you know, like Mark says, the keys to the kingdom, and you reckon that's a good performance. Absolutely, he's off his head. He really is. I think the guy's he's going senile. He just hasn't got a clue anymore.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, it really is at the point where we have become a banter club under Mourinho. It's absolutely pathetic. I mean, just so you guys know, we're in the 90th minute. We're just about to figure out how much stoppage time there's going to be. I believe Crystal Palace are bringing on their last sub right now. Zaha's coming off.
Yeah, I mean, they're shutting up shop.
Yeah.
They're thrilled. They're thrilled. They took a point from us here at home without working too hard. To be honest, they probably felt like a nap.
This guy's had to. I mean, a couple of people in saying in the comments like, you know, give him time, it'll come good.
How much more time does he need?
This is what I'm saying. He's had two. This is his third season, and there has not been a change. The first season, you could say, okay, you know, he was getting used to the job. He wanted to mould his own team. Second season, okay, a little bit of progress because we finished second, but there was no progress in the way we played. And this season, it's exactly the same. Nothing has changed.
We have 4 minutes of extra time.
4 minutes. So I mean,
look, we're going to stay live a little bit after too, right?
Cheers, Conrad. Thank you. Yeah, we'll stay live for about 10-15 minutes after. We'll talk about it and.
But again, for all the people who, you know, you want to talk after those 10 minutes, use Discord. Because this is cool now. You have a group of people who are obviously going to be thrilled with this result and not want to yell about it. And you could go into those voice chats and vent actual frustration about how pleasant everything is at United right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. Do you guys know how far off the top we finished in Mourinho's first season? Like how many points?
I'm going to say I think it was about 22 or 23 points.
I'm going to see if I can't find that real quick.
So, yeah, I mean, thanks for everyone for joining us today. Mark was at the game, as a lot of people knew. Mark will be doing a fan cam after the game as well, so keep a watch out on the channel for that. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for everyone who's liked and subscribed to the channel as well. And get involved in the Discord server. I think the link is in yesterday's video that was on the channel. So you need an invitation to get in there. So if you go into the description on yesterday's video, you can join in the Discord through that. Thanks to the moderators. Yeah.
So,
thanks to
real quick, in the first season we finished 24 points off of first.
Yeah.
And in the second season we finished 19 points off first. So basically, we haven't ever come within 20 points of first under Mourinho.
Nah. Yeah. Terrible.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, absolutely terrible.
Perfect. Nothing
Yeah.
comes from a corner kick from Rashford, which is to be expected because he can't take a corner kick. City just scored again, so they're up 4-0.
4-0, yeah.
Well, there's that prediction.
So again, just want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in to the show today. Thanks to the moderators, George, Sophie, Paul. I think MJ,
Snaps has been here.
Snaps has been on there, yeah. So thanks guys for that. Oh, and Matthew. Yeah, Matthew's been on. Yeah,
Matthew's
thanks.
always here.
Thanks for the guest today as well, Jared.
Yep.
For coming on, mate. And thanks to Andrew. Andrew, do you want to shout out your Twitter and your YouTube channel?
Sure. I really appreciate that, Marcus. So, guys, I started up a YouTube channel talking about, Manchester United, Premier League. I talk about the NFL. I talk about multiple sports. I'm going to start up NBA next week. I don't just cover only Manchester United, but I cover every Manchester United game. So if you ever want to come over and sub my my YouTube, I'll type into the chat, but it's the Red Bearded Red on YouTube, and we've built up a great following over there. So I'd be happy to have you guys.
Great.
So is the game over?
No.
Just about. We're in the 95th minute.
So a positive second clean sheet of the season.
0-0.
I think that is really the only thing. That is the only thing. Well, do you know what, Dino? If you don't like it, go. Isn't it? Simple as that. So I'll do you a favour and you can go. There you go. So yeah, second clean sheet of the season. I think that's the only positive that we can say today.
Well, that's game right there.
So overall, then, boys. What are you thinking? Performance-wise.
I'm thinking great job by Fulham hiring Ranieri because they're going to win. And I think with us, it's bad. I think it's bad. You know what? Even as someone who doesn't blame Mourinho for all of it, I'm ready for him to go and a change to be made. Just because it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. That's my opinion. And the performance just shows that the players just don't give a shit about what's happening.
So, would you make change now, Jared? Or would you...
Yeah, I would, but the board won't. Yeah. Under any circumstances. They will not pay $20 million to sack Mourinho. They will wait.
Right, well, let's say they get rid of him Monday morning, right? They pay the $20 million, they get rid of him. Who would you want in?
Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe, yeah? Right, so...
100%. Because I think what you want is someone who can build something, and we as fans have to be willing to give them time, right? Yeah. It's not getting better now. So I thought if we were on the cusp of a title, then Zidane would have been great. I don't think we are there. I think that Eddie Howe also knows how to stretch a budget, so he could fit with what the club wants right now. I think overall he is an attacking-minded player who's a player's coach, and they would love him.
A lot of people saying in the comments there's boos around Old Trafford again.
Good. There should be.
Well, there should be.
Yeah, I think everyone's entitled to have their voice heard and their opinion heard on the club.
Real quick, so I got the stats here for the match from NBC. So Crystal Palace had 13 total attempts to our 12. We did have 5 attempts on target to their 2. 60% possession to their 40. We had 509 total passes to their 351, with a passing accuracy of 83% for us and 75% for them. We had 10 corners to their 3. There was 13 fouls committed by us to their 12, and then 2 yellow cards for Crystal Palace to our 1.
Interesting. Andrew, same question, mate. What do you think?
Dude, if I could fire Mourinho right now, I would. I would literally. If I could fly to Manchester right now and just be like, nah, you're done, dude. I would do it. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And there's gonna be people that are saying, oh, this is on the players and blah blah blah. I'm sorry, but tactically, look how we were set up in this match. We were set up to fail because we did not go at this match at any point in time in this game. We never went at this match. I'm honestly like, if we're firing Mourinho right now, I'm fine with bringing in Eddie Howe because I actually believe that he would leave from Bournemouth to come to here in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
I see, and I'm in 100% agreement with you both, though. This board they are absolute cowards, and there is no chance, and I mean no chance, they will fire Mourinho. If they were to fire him, I would be in absolute shock.
Got a contribution here from Mr. Exclusive. Thanks, mate. It says, Eddie Howe hasn't got top four, just like Moyes. In Poch, we trust. I mean, Pochettino.
I mean, I patently disagree with that. Eddie Howe did not get top four with Bournemouth, obviously, but he brought Bournemouth, a second-tier League Two club on the verge of bankruptcy, to a team that you're all considering mid-table contenders every year on a minor budget. He would do unbelievable things. Pochettino also, good luck dealing with Daniel Levy getting him. So it's an unrealistic signing.
This is the thing. That's where I was going to go with that. I think Pochettino, I think as much as it's a good fit for the club and the manager, I don't think it's going to happen because trying to negotiate with Daniel Levy is like getting blood out of a stone. It just ain't going to happen. So I mean, Andrew, who would you bring in? Eddie Howe, yeah?
So here's the thing. If I could bring in anybody, I would bring in Pochettino. I think that Pochettino is this is just my personal opinion. I think that he is the closest thing that we would have to Sir Alex Ferguson.
Right.
I think that Pochettino to me is somebody that he knows how to get his teams to transition from defense to midfield to attack quickly and well. It's not that I'm not saying that Poch is by far like perfect by any means. And here's the thing: every manager that we would bring in at this point is gonna be a risk, and there's gonna be faults. But I believe that Pochettino, with what he has done, and it's similar to what Eddie Howe has done at Bournemouth. It's not like Pochettino has had this massive budget at Tottenham. He's worked with a budget. He's somebody that can get the best out of all of his players. I mean, all of his players love him, and that's something that I honestly think would go such a long way with Manchester United right now because I think our players need somebody that they can get behind. And right now, our players just are not going to get behind Mourinho. It's not happening, and you can see it in the way that our teams are set up. They're bored. I believe our players are bored to death right now. And I don't get it. I don't get how this board can allow this fraud to continue to run this club.
I think for me, if it's an immediate effect that they give him the boot, I think long-term wise, I've got to say I'm going to go for Jardine. I think long-term they've got if they're looking beyond the 2 to 3 season short-term fix, then I think Jardine really is the only one that they can actually go for. Simeone, very similar. I did want Simeone a couple of seasons back before Mourinho was in charge. I thought he would have done well, but they obviously brought in Mourinho. Zidane, I would like Zidane, but I can't. I mean, his CV with the 3 Champions Leagues, he's a winner. He was a decent player. He knows how to play the game, obviously. But I don't know. I just can't see Zidane at the club longer than 2 or 3 seasons.
Agree.
So for me, long-term projects, if they're really going to stick by their decision and throw their weight behind him in terms of money and investments and stuff like that, I think it would have to be Jardine. I think young, exciting, knows how to play football, knows how to deal with youth players. He can deal with the egos. I mean, Pochettino is the dream, I think, for all us United fans, but it's never going to happen unless United pay an extortionate amount of money to Spurs to get him. It would probably cost them more to get Pochettino than what it would to sack Mourinho. So that's my thinking of it. I mean, I just think there's nowhere else for him to go now. I mean, who's he going to put the blame on today? This is the thing. Which player is he going to throw under the bus? in his
Pogba?
press conference.
Because he took Pogba off.
Yeah, he probably will.
I don't think he throws Pogba under the bus. I think that's a dangerous move right now, and he knows that. Mourinho's a genius with the media. He knows exactly what to say to get the attention either on him or off of him. He's not going to fuck it up right now because he knows that he's hanging by a thread. Unless he wants this to end, in all honesty, and then Mourinho will do what he's done before, which is blow it all up.
It's such. I'm lost for words. I'm so disappointed the way the club's gone. It's like they've spiralled downhill at the minute, putting this guy in charge. The first season was okay with what he had to deal with, and the means that he had. The Europa League, he put all his eggs into one basket. He went for the Europa League to get the Champions League. He did it. Second season, all right, we were second, but we were so far behind first. It was unreal. And then this season, I think it's just a case of the third season syndrome for him. He's never been at a club longer than 3 seasons, I don't think. So we're going to be going into the unknown come the end of the season if we stick with him anyway. But
yeah.
So, guys, I kind of thought about this just now. Mark might be a bad luck charm since we've come out with 2 draws from the games that he's been to, with Wolves and Crystal Palace. So
you also get to that point where it's like, Marcus, you were saying short-termism and the thinking that like we need short-term fixes, and it's like I think anyone who backs any of them, Eddie Howe, Pochettino, Jardim, they're all one and the same. Like, they're all unique in the sense that with time and a project, as long as they can step up to a big enough club, they could make us amazing again. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know that any of the fans will actually have the time or give them the time if we're not winning titles right away. But then the question is, like, if you did Zidane and you did another 2 years, like, what happens after? Again, it's like we can't have another manager for 2 years. We can't.
No.
And it's like, I think that creates a bigger problem. We need stability at the club where fans are excited again to be up and watching football. And it's not going to happen through, and now he's doing his press conference. He just looks so thrilled.
Yeah, I'm going to tell Mark he's not allowed to go to Old Trafford anymore because he's a curse.
You're going to mute it and listen to it.
Well, honestly, I can't wait to see these fan cams come in because honestly, there is going to be some angry people about this match.
Yeah, there is definitely.
By the way, so his exact starting point of his press conference was the objective is to get top 4. No. Then they cut it off on NBC Sports, but you can only imagine where this press conference started.
Stephen Featley has just made a contribution. Thanks for that. It says you won't even finish above Arsenal the way it's going. And you know what, mate? That is you're probably not far wrong there, to be honest. The way we're playing and the way opposing teams are playing, they're going away and they're blowing teams away 3-4-0, which is what they do because they play exciting football. United just aren't exciting to watch anymore under this clown. So the only way, I just think, I can't see us getting top 4, Andrew, at Christmas. Really can't. We dropped points today. You look at the games coming up. I mean, obviously the 2 big ones come to mind, the Liverpool and the Arsenal. I don't see us getting anything from them games after playing like this today. I really don't. Arsenal, with their style of football, they like to keep possession. They'll attack on the counter attack, but I think they'll come to Old Trafford and they'll think, we can get 3 points here. Same as Liverpool. Liverpool know we're slow. We're slow as it's an aging, decrepit team, and they will.
Mourinho's going to park it up as hard as possible in that game.
They will just bombard us at Anfield. They will absolutely bombard us. Salah, Mane, they'll tear us a new arsehole when we go there. They will absolutely kill us. I'm dreading it. I'm absolutely dreading it. I mean, I thought we had Valencia midweek, but I'm glad it's young boys because we might actually get a win. It's going to be nothing to boast about getting a win against them, but it might get a bit of confidence in the team again. But I don't know. I think we've got more chance of being relegated, mate, in the bottom 4 than what we have top 4 by Christmas. To be honest,
I agree with you. We have a better chance of being in the bottom four than the top four, I would say. Especially if you're going to draw to a team that has only scored 8 goals this year.
Yeah.
I get that it's a 0-0 draw, but Crystal Palace are not a good team. They are not a good team.
No, they're not.
They've got the Owl as their manager, for God's sake.
But what I got from you two commentating today is the fact that United's back line and even United's midfield just cannot deal with pace. There was a few times Zaha was involved, Townsend involved, and they should have capitalised on the chances that they had. And if not for De Gea, we would have lost that game again. We got to thank our goalie again, to keep us in the game. It's an absolute joke. I mean, second clean sheet of the season as well. A fucking 0-0 draw at Crystal Palace at home. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. This bloke is taking us back. Every time we play a game, he is taking us back step by step. And I know people said that when Moyes come in, he had a monumental task on his hands, taking over from Sir Alex. But I actually think the guy who comes in after Mourinho has probably got a bigger job than what David Moyes has, because this club is an absolute shit state at the minute, an absolute fucking mess, and it's all because of him and his tactics.
It's funny too, because it literally feels the same, if that makes sense. Like when Sir Alex left, his genius probably masked a lot of the problems that were going on behind the scenes, and Moyes' idiocy for firing Sir Alex's people expedited these problems coming to the forefront, and now they're there. You can't hide from them. We are in a disaster situation as a club, and the only fix is rebuilding from the bottom up, and building youth and rebuilding a team around a player that we all have confidence is going to be here for 10 years. It's like Pogba's probably a player you would build around, or a Mata or someone, but then you sit there and you say, can you really build around Pogba? Is he going to be here for his career? Who knows?
Exactly.
And it's
our best players don't want to renew their contracts because, I mean, let's not hide beat about the bush. They don't want to sign the contracts because of him. It's that simple. It really is. If they believed in Mourinho, or if they believed they were going to get played week in, week out and not get abused as such in the press conferences and stuff like that, if they were playing decent football, they'd sign the contract straight away. They wouldn't even need to hesitate about it. But because of this bloke in charge, our top players are debating about whether to stay with this club, and that's awful. That's absolutely awful. Martial's pondering about the contract, De Gea's pondering about it, Pogba, he's been linked with Juventus again, I saw yesterday. It's awful.
I don't blame anybody for wanting to leave this club right now. I don't blame any player. Like, we are an absolute joke right now.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to come play for Manchester United under Mourinho?
Well, this is the thing as well. What attacking player? I mean, I thought, not last summer, the summer before, I was saying to Mark, James Rodriguez was available. We could grab him. Before we even got Matic, I was talking to Mark and I said, Eric Dyer, one for the future, upcoming English. He can play in multiple positions as well. And Draxler, when he was available, wasn't being played. But there is no way them 3 players now would want to come to United. And it's a shame, because the class that these players possess, I mean, James Rodriguez especially, they ain't going to want to come in and play this boring crap. They're going to think, what's the point? I'd rather just sit on the bench than be involved in playing for that. It's awful. Absolutely awful. There's no attractiveness to Manchester United anymore with Mourinho in charge. If you're an overseas player and United are in for you, you think to yourself, well, look at the manager, look at the style of play. The only thing the club's got going for it at the minute is the history. But that's all that it is. It's history. History can't help us now with signing players or playing football. We've got to get rid of him. We've got to get rid of him to become an attractive club once again.
I mean, Marcus, you're spot on.
But will we get rid of him? That's really what it comes down to.
Well,
we all know what we need, but are we going to do it? And
No.
that's where it just gets you so frustrated, because if we as fans can see it, how do the people making multi-billion-dollar decisions outside of marketing not see it? Like, how do we not have a person in there to explain to the board how bad this is for the brand of Manchester United, what this does to international fans and the people outside of the UK who just will follow, let's say, more on a whim and then stick with the team versus people who grow up as a fan? This is killing an international brand, and it's allowing other teams to have one.
I'll tell you something else as well. What I remember was on the top of my head. I was absolutely livid to see Pulisic linked with Liverpool and Chelsea in January. Absolutely livid with that, because when you got the likes of us being linked to Hervin Lozano, we should be that club at the front of that queue, getting young, exciting talent into our club, right? And to see us not even being linked, whether it was true or not is a different thing, but not even being mentioned in the same sentence as being linked with Pulisic was absolutely dreadful to me. Absolutely dreadful.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, so I mean, I don't know how many people saw this story, but so Christian Pulisic was in town for international break like a season or two ago, and he was asking if somebody could bring down his dog, and the person that was willing to was a Manchester City fan, and so the person like had a WhatsApp message with him. And the person's like, you should come to Manchester City. And he said, I can't do that. I'm a Manchester United fan. And so if he feels that way about Manchester City, there's no way he'll go to Liverpool.
Incorrect. Incorrect, Andrew, and I wish you were right. But Klopp gave him his start. So you got to remember
Klopp brought him in, but he never started under Klopp.
But you have to assume to some degree that Klopp and Pulisic have a bond where it could overcome the fact that we are in such a shit state that he would go there for the ability to play under Klopp. Again, I have this weird feeling that Klopp has this connection with players that gets them to want to play for him. We don't have that attractiveness. And if you're looking for your career, you stay for 2 years and then you're not abandoning. You may go to United after Liverpool. Who knows? But it's like, if I'm him, I'm looking where I'm going to progress my career, not what I'm a fan of, because look at what's happened to youth who's come here.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I don't. And here's the thing: I don't think that Pulisic will move in January. I see no way he moves in January. But I mean, in the summer, if we aren't going after somebody like Pulisic, like Lozano, like these young attacking players, and it's got to be because we have a new manager in place. Because no young player is going to want to come play for Mourinho. You're not going to play. You know you're going to wind up sitting on the bench. And honestly, I would expect that most players would think that. I mean, Fred isn't a young player, and yet he's on the bench. Like, you're expecting to come here and just sit on the bench if you're going to be a signing. Why would you want to come here? Nobody wants to come.
Do you know what? I'm actually seeing a pattern, right? I think the only way young, exciting players will want to come to United, all the experienced, well-known players would come to United, is if they are overpaid in wages, okay? And purely, I'm going to say that because Fred was linked to City, we ended up getting him, right? Sanchez was linked to City, we ended up getting him. Pogba was linked to Madrid. We overpaid to get him. That's three main players in our team that are overpaid, or we've overpaid on the transfer fee just to spite another club. Alright? And I think, even with Lukaku to a certain extent, we all know Lukaku wasn't the first choice. It was Morata was the first choice for Mourinho until Madrid started messing about with the transfer fee. Then Morata changes his mind, he wanted to go to Chelsea. We got lumbered then with Lukaku. So I think Lukaku was a bit of a panic buy, really, because there was no strikers really available at the time, apart from them two. So I just think the only way we get a well-known player of any quality whatsoever is by overpaying on their wages. Because they'll be quite content to sit on the bench earning 400,000-500,000 a week, doing 20 minutes, half hour here, or starting a game the following week. It's because that's what it's all about nowadays, I think. For the modern footballers now, I think it's all about the amount of money. And this has all started with Sanchez. And I think that's probably another reason why De Gea and Martial, they want more money. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? Look at what they're paying Sanchez. It's ridiculous, that amount of money. For what he does and for what he brings to our team, it's horrendous, the amount of money that we're paying him in wages. And you've got players, but you've got players like De Gea and Martial who do so much more for the team and bring so much more in terms of the way they play. I mean, De Gea today has give us a point as far as I'm concerned. But why shouldn't these players be on 250, 300 grand? If you're paying that crap for 450,000 a week, pay the players the amount of money they deserve, right? Because of what they bring to the team. Sanchez is a has-been now, as far as I'm concerned. He was when we got him. I never wanted him. I never saw the point. But if De Gea wants 300 grand a week, he's the best goalie in the world. Of course he is. Give him the bloody money. Stop arguing over it. Give him the money. Martial, he could end up being a Ballon d'Or winner. The sky's the limit for him. Give him the money. Rashford as well, young, exciting. Give him the money. Pogba. You know, we've got the stars there in place. The Pogbas, the Geas, Martial, Rashford, Fred. We've got, even Lindelof and Bailly could become quality centre-backs. Some would say world-class centre-backs. So the foundations are there. Give the players what they deserve. Give them the money. If you're not spending it on transfers, give them what they want, wages, because that's the future of the team. Not Sanchez, not Matic, the other lads. Shift the old crap out. Bring the new stuff through and preserve the new young ones for as long as you can to see us forward in the future for the next 5 years.
Well, you know what else? When you talk about that, it's like we screwed the whole wage structure up in this club by signing Sanchez.
Yeah.
It's like you look at Salah, who just signed a 5-year deal for what, £200,000. He's £100,000 less than Sanchez.
Yeah.
It's like, in what planet? Who's making these decisions? And it's not a year-long mistake. It's not like you just brought someone in the club. It's like you're now paying them for 4 years. We look like morons. And if you're De Gea or you're Pogba or you're Martial, you're going to want to make what the player you feel is at the top of the club is making, right?
Yeah.
So you've created this problem. If you want to fix it, just cut him. Get rid of him. Pay half his wages and send him somewhere else, honestly. Because what he's doing to the locker room is setting us back 5 years alone.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely, definitely. I mean, Andrew, what do you think?
Marcus, I'm honestly I'm at a level of pissed off right now that I'm trying to contain because I've still got to save something for my review on my channel.
Yeah.
But bro, like, what are we doing? What are we doing at Manchester United that this is allowed to continue? I've seen so many people in the comments here just bantering us that we laughing about the fact that we're not even going to come top 4. And honestly, we freaking deserve it. We are garbage right now. We have a horrible manager. We've got players that don't want to play for said manager. We've got a board that won't do the right thing. We've got fans that are pissed off both at the players, the manager, at each other. It goes from the top down, and we are an absolute joke right now. I mean, we are an absolute joke.
Yeah.
Goldbridge tweeted out, absolute shit.
Yeah. Well,
so he agrees.
Hiya, Sally.
It's a problem, right? Like when we talk about this, it gets to that issue where you're going to get rid of Mourinho, right? Okay, so once you do that, are the problems fixed, or are there more problems you're unearthing? And it's like with Sanchez, with others. You know what? It's not one game anymore. It's like we're now looking at like the future of the club has problems, like real problems that how are you going to correct it? Because I'm not trying to create this issue, but I'm not having the Saudis come in here. So it's like where does this club go after the Glazers? Because there has to be an after the Glazers at this point. There has to be. Or this club will always be mired in debt and be held back by the people running the club.
I think in terms when you talk about transfer funds and things like that, I don't think you can fault the Glazers in that because they give him the money. They have given him the money.
Yeah. They didn't give him the money this year, though.
No, but you look at the circumstances around it. Jerome Boateng, Godin, you know.
Right, but what if those weren't his targets? Like, we've talked about this. Laurent Blanc at the conference they were all at, someone asked him, well, what was Mourinho doing at United with the people he was looking at? And his response was, I heard he was looking at Koulibaly and Skriniar, and that's who he wanted to bring in. So if the media was reporting incorrectly and we did bring in one of those people, or that was his target, and all they needed was more money, where do you consider it? Because it's not like we spent 150 million pounds. So do you think we're just saving it for the next manager?
But do you think, though, I mean, in saying that, Jared, do you think that if those were his targets, was he turned down because of what they see at Manchester United now? Do they think, you know, do the Skriniars, Koulibalys, Manolas, you know, are they looking at us and thinking, nah, I don't want to play in that team because it's so much hard work because of the way Mourinho is conducting the team at the minute. The tactics are outdated, the play style's outdated. You know, even some of the personnel that he's picking, I mean Matic especially, just not good enough. You know, the legs have gone. The legs have gone now. The players that he's bringing in are short-term fixes. And I think to myself sometimes, maybe Pogba wasn't his signing. You know, maybe that was the likes of Woodward, even Fred. You know, the young players could be the board and Woodward's decision because Mourinho just seems to want to go for the players that are already tried and trusted because he knows he's not going to be there much longer.
You know, on top of that, too, I have a comment from someone here, and I'm going to read it out, because why not? So JW says, they didn't give him the money this year. Spoiled Yanks upset because they can't boast about their glory team to their other Yank friends. It's comical, by the way, that people think that as an international fan you can't have an opinion. You're an idiot. And on a side note, you know what else? It's like, what's wrong about that? As a club that brings in $1 billion a year in profit through marketing deals, through everything else that they have, how should we have not spent more than $50 million? That's not glory hunting. If Mourinho wasn't the right guy, he should have just been fired. That was the end of it. But it's like to not build around the team that came second, you're asking for what we have this year. This combined with the tactics, we're just in the problem. Like, I don't see what gets better if that makes sense either. You know, and it's like we have the talent, but who unlocks it?
Yeah. And I think this is where the fresh approach needs to come in.
Yeah.
I just think, Andrew, with a fresh approach, the problem, 75% of the problem is solved with a young, enthusiastic manager who doesn't slate the players and conducts himself properly in interviews and stuff. Mourinho's always got a bit of a solemn face in his press conferences, and he never takes responsibility for anything.
No, he doesn't. Mourinho will refuse to take responsibility for anything that happened in this. He will say, the players play well today, blah, 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 which, by the way, I just want to throw it out there. So Victor Lindelof is hurt. He got hurt, like, towards the very, very end of the game. And you could see him grabbing his, like, it looked like he might have pulled his groin or something like that from where he was grabbing. But, I mean, he's continuing to just make us an absolute joke. We need a fresh approach. We like, honestly, that's where, like, hearing somebody like Eddie Howe name, somebody that's young and enthusiastic, somebody that can come in and just bring some form of optimism. Like, for the love of God, Manchester United needs some form of optimism to come into this club, because right now there is zero optimism. I don't even know, like, even Mourinho in fans can't even be optimistic. I honestly, I kind of hope that, so there's the guy that it's on the fan cams occasionally, that he always manages to find something to be positive. What is there to be positive about in that match that we just played? There is nothing to be positive about. The only thing you could possibly say was positive is that Lindelof still managed to make a tackle while he was hurt. We did nothing in that match. How Mourinho still has a job is absolutely mind-boggling. We need to change this up. We need to do something because at this point, we're getting to the point now where we're just going to continue to drift down the table. And I'm going to be worried about getting to the point that we will finish close to relegation zone like Chelsea did in Mourinho's last year at Chelsea. That does genuinely start to worry me.
You guys, I got a question. So someone said, let Nicky Budd rise from the shadows of the class of '92. Interesting. Like, you wonder who could coach this team out of the who's a guy who we're not talking about who could actually be a manager for this club. I don't know.
Do you know what I think even Gary Neville, he didn't have a successful spell at Valencia, but I think even Neville would get us back on the right track because he knows the Manchester United way. It's drilled into him. It's second nature. And the same with Nicky Butt. Roy Keane as well. I just think that you've got to have someone who knows what Manchester United is all about involved in the management somehow, somewhere, involved in the first team. Because obviously, I don't think Carrick is doing it. I really don't. He's never struck me as the player to voice his opinions. He might be a leader in the dressing room with his experience, but he doesn't strike me as the sort of person who would say to Mourinho on the sideline, look, this ain't right, you're doing this wrong. I think you need someone in there who can stand up to Mourinho as an assistant or take over that knows the Manchester United way. I think that's the only way forward for me.
I agree with that, Morris.
But on that note, we are going to end the show now.
Thank everyone for joining us.
Thank you all for joining us, and thanks to the moderators. I think I mentioned you all: Sophie, Andrew, Jared, George, Paul.
And everyone, follow Marcus on Twitter. He's a genius. He's at Mad Marcus.
No, don't. But Andrew, do you want to mention your Twitter and your channel again?
Yeah, for sure, Marcus. So I'm at Red on Twitter, guys. I talk primarily about Manchester United, but I do talk about all sports. And then on my YouTube, I'm the Red on YouTube. I'll type my name. I'll type the message in here. But I mean, guys, we have regular guests on my channel. If anybody ever wants to get involved with my channel for any sport, feel free to, because I genuinely love fan opinion. It's part of the reason why I love the United Stand so much, because we do accept everybody's opinions on this channel. We allow everybody to have a voice on this channel, and I love that about the United Stand.
Mourinho, and then you shouldn't have a voice anymore at this point.
Yeah. But yes, thank you all for joining us, and don't forget to like the video if you can, please. It would be a big help to us, and subscribe if you're new, and don't forget, get involved in the Discord chats as well. So the link for the Discord is on yesterday's video in the description box, so get involved with that as well. So yeah, thanks to everyone, thanks to you guys for joining me, you two.
Yep, fun day.
Thank you, Marcus. I had a fun time talking to you guys and venting about what is so horrible about Manchester United at the moment.
Well, hopefully we get to do it again soon. And so thank you all, everyone, and speak to you soon.
Stay well, everyone.
Thank you, guys.